San Antonio's Sports Center.
It wasn't pretty, but it's over. The Oklahoma City Thunder won the second franchise championship, first in Oklahoma City history, 103-91 over the Indianapolis Pacers. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander named MVP. In other NBA news, the Houston Rockets won the Kevin Durant sweepstakes, acquiring the 15-time NBA All-Star for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and the number 10 pick in this year's draft. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Good morning, everybody! Woo, how it doing? Woo!
We're here.
Oh, baby. Morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It's a Monday.
It is a Monday.
Well, RIP to the 2024-25 NBA season. Put to bed last night.
Rest in power.
You'll be... Oh, finally, Vic. Oh, it's been bothering you so much?
He slept through it all.
Yeah, he sleeps through the whole thing. He's like, oh, finally, it's over.
Some total about 5 minutes.
It's like my wife. She's like, oh, finally, the season's over. It's like, you've watched like 20 minutes of basketball all year. What are you talking about, finally over? For me, it's always like, okay, when the NBA ends, it means football coming.
Here it come. But it's still such a distant...
I know.
That is truly over the horizon.
I know. Ugh.
So we still have
July here. It's going to be July here in a couple of
well,
weeks.
if you think about it, you count your weeks down. Like this week, we still get a lot of NBA. We
There's
got
the draft.
we got the draft coming, and then we'll get more of that next week. So that's 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then after that, we got nothing. We got about 3 weeks of literally nothing.
But hey, you know what? That means you're going to hear me sing a lot of songs.
See,
you're going to hear Rob tell stories.
Yeah. Well, that's not the.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not terrible. I mean, what I'm trying to get at. I mean, that ain't poverty.
No.
But
we'll probably do some bits where my taxidermy cat talks to us.
So there's all kinds of fun stuff coming.
Yeah. So we still got. Boy, I can tell you what, I'm not on my A game because I got to work today and I reached over to my passenger seat to grab my bag and come inside and said, oh, that's weird. My bag's not there. And then I looked on the floorboard and I said, son of a bitch.
Were you having a good morning to that moment where you're man, I'm skating to work. I got up easy. I'm not tired.
It took me 23 minutes to get in. And I was like, ooh, I think that's like a new record.
That's pretty good. It sure is.
That's faster.
Pretty impressive.
That's faster than it is from where my apartment was.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I was feeling great, and then I was like, well, I must have gotten real good. I was able to get up to these real high speeds because my load was light.
You're running lean.
Like one of those cars, I'm taking off like the tire wells. Like, oh no, I gotta drop weight. Gotta be built for speed. Okay. Well, here we go. The Oklahoma City Thunder 103-91 win over the Pacers. And I was waiting to see who would be the first one to do this silly thing that Vince Trevino did. Asterisk for OKC since they took out Halliburton. Pacers were going to win.
Hey, man, whatever gets you through the night, man.
If that makes you feel better,
hold dearly to that.
Hey, man, not because the guy who came in and took his minutes was the best player on the floor for the Pacers, but no big deal. They would have both been on the floor at that point. Maybe they would have let him play with 6 men. Now this was the better team won, but. It was a shame that's how it had to end for Halliburton. I felt bad for him because, like I said, he was damned if he did, damned if he didn't. We talked to Dr. Garrett last week about this very thing.
Remember
KD, it was the same thing. It was a calf issue that eventually he pushed through and it turned into an Achilles, and that was the biggest concern. And I mean, apparently the Pacers told him, "Hey, man, this is a risk. If you want to go for it, we're not going to stop you. But if you don't, we understand." And once they tell you that, there's no win for Halliburton. There was either
you got to play.
He's got to play.
Of all games, there's one that you absolutely, if you have a breath, if you are capable of dragging your half-ass onto the court, you do that. You might not be allowed to, but you got to get yourself ready. It's one. I think it.
Would you have wanted your kid to do it?
Oh yeah. Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Strap it up. Let's go. I mean, who am I?
Yeah.
To get in the way of that. That's everything you preach and teach about. But what I'm trying to get at is this is in the arc of Tyrese Halliburton's career. This is, probably a pretty good time for this to happen because the Pacers have a built-in excuse. They can cling tight to this just like Trevino can. Hold on to this, man. You would have won, but
yeah.
So it'll get you through the night. It gives him a year to become legend. And then it lets Indiana kind of look at this team without him. This is a good thing for everybody involved, except, it's terrible to see the injury. But the Pacers are kind of in a tough situation because you can't dismantle this team. You can't, no, we don't got enough. But we all know you don't got enough. Yeah. But right now, they have the built-in excuse. We're not going to dismantle, but we're going to have to change some things. And I think they're going to find sometime in the middle of next season that we're pretty good with just Nembhard.
Yeah.
They're going to find that we're really not that far off from where we were. Now, granted, those miracle shots mattered. We wouldn't have been where we were without him. But the fact of the matter is, he's still just a really good basketball player. Yeah. No more, no less.
Yeah.
And I think that it'll allow him to live the legend, but it'll also allow the Pacers to go, see, we really didn't need him.
Well, trust me, his stock is higher in going down than it would have been in them losing by 8 points with him on the floor.
Right. Right now, he is legend.
Yeah,
but
there is
this,
if it weren't for that.
And by the way, enough with the snapped Achilles replay. Enough, man. Just because there's no blood doesn't mean I need to see it over and over and over. Watching that thing pop. Right. Oh, man, that still gives me shivers.
Frank says last week making fun, saying he was fake and you should feel bad. I feel terrible.
It was the voodoo doll.
I feel so terrible.
We had the voodoo doll. I didn't mean to poke the needle right there, but I did. I'm sorry.
I mean, honestly, Frank, he might be faking now. I don't know. There's a possibility that wasn't even a real, he might have just had an egg in his sock, and when when the egg busted, he said, "Oh, I'm gonna lay down and get out of this game."
No, foots aren't supposed to look like that. Feet ain't supposed to bend like that. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
All right. Well, maybe he's hurt. Maybe he's really hurt this time. Last week, faking. I think what's funny and what's unfortunate is that takes away, I think, from the story that was the Oklahoma City Thunder. This was the best team in the league, best team in the regular season, like one of the 5 best regular seasons in the history of the game. And because they worked hard in the playoffs, harder than people thought they should have had to, myself included, I don't know that they'll get the credit for what they did this season. But, dude, this team is just – it's almost unbelievable that this was even a series. And I give credit to Indiana because when you look at their team and you look at Oklahoma City's team, they shouldn't be on the floor together.
No. No. But when they're back, it won't look like this again. I think that
Oklahoma City,
they're gonna retool. They're gonna come back, and they know how to play these games now. And they survived. Yesterday wasn't pretty. Nothing.
No.
If Daigneault was to go back and scout the film, they didn't play that well, and they didn't. They really only played well.
Especially didn't play well on offense.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They just missed shots. But I think what they've realized is we got to get ourselves a point guard, a legitimate veteran point guard that can control pace, and we would about be unstoppable. And they're pretty unstoppable as they sit now. This is a team ain't going anywhere for a long time. They're just really good, and they're going to be getting better by the minute.
You know what I think they need more than just about anything is just a shooter.
Well, where your only job is to stand in the corner. They don't care. They don't care. That defense isn't. They know that defense jump shots come and go, threes get streaky and not. That defense comes every night, and we'll pay for defense and hope we find a jump shot. Somebody every night has to get hot, and I think that's their hope. And the numbers show it. Why do we need to change that? I think their biggest concern in the playoffs was we got to get away because they're tripling Shai Gilgeous from the moment he crosses the timeline. So we got to get somebody to create something to get him off the ball. And when they got Jay Will that one game, when Jay Will became the threat, then that offense looked remarkable. So I think that's the only thing they got to do, and there's no reason why they can't do that with moderate talent. They don't have to go get a star to do what they need to get done.
They have that Topic kid coming.
They're frightening in the possibilities, and it's all that coming. And the one thing when this year to me will represent was this transition from stars to teams. As big a player and as great as Shai was, and the numbers back up a ridiculous season. Jordan, Shaq, Kobe, those kind of years.
Yeah.
He's still not a star. He's still not the dude. This is about the team. And that's the craziest thing about where we're headed now is we've lost the LeBrons and Stephs are gone, and now it's about the name on the front of the jersey, not the back. It's a very interesting transition.
Yeah. I'm fascinated by that team. I mean, any team that they were defensively. It's just it's a force. I mean, there's no way you can play clean ball for 48 minutes against that team.
Well,
four out of 7 times.
Now the crucible is down. We know what they do, and we'll see what it looks like when everything that every other team, all 29 other teams, now spend the next 6 months doing everything they can to beat you.
Yeah.
Let's see how you withstand that, because that's broken a lot of teams because they're not used to having the tough night in Milwaukee on Tuesday. They're not used to having a tough game everywhere they go. They're Oklahoma City. They roll in quietly, kick your ass, and leave. Now teams are going to be up for them. Now they're going to wake up every morning and think about, when do we get OKC and when do I get Shai? When do I get to take a piece of J-Dub's game away? So it's going to be – that's the thing that scares me about this team. Because there isn't a star to carry him through those nights.
You know what?
Like
I've got a college comp on the other side that I want to kind of ask you if I'm on point with how this team is built, because I do think there's some coaches who like a unique thing, and I think Daigneault may fall into that. We'll talk about that next. A lot of hoops today. It's the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. If your travels are taking you along 35 southbound through the Selma area from Olympia Parkway on down to 1604. Roadwork right lane is closed, and that has you stop and go from Evans. This ongoing roadwork downtown, 35 upper level, southbound Alamo on down to Laredo Street. That is still closed, with traffic being forced to take the lower level. Now, if you guys see something we're not talking about, call us on the traffic tip line. We'll check it out. 210-785-2601. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Mom, it's like the 80s in here. It's so hot.
It's totally in the 80s. Our AC is bogus.
Call Right Home Services.
At Right Home Services, we love the 80s, just not on your thermostat. Don't get stuck with a bogus AC. The right AC services, the right team, and the right price. 210-444.
The right stuff.
Now we can chill, Mom.
Guys, starting TRT has never been easier. Other places charge hundreds of dollars just for the test. But visit any Synergenics or Low T Center and get the consultation and test totally free. Treatment is personalized to you, and most major insurance is accepted. With the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment, you're in control of your health. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. Offer limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Your marriage is over. You know it. Your friends know it. Take back control now with Barton & Associates, an aggressive, no-nonsense team of attorneys ready to fight for what you deserve. Contact us today at texasdivorce.com. That's texasdivorce.com.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District knows that life moves fast, and the last thing you want is to miss out due to an illness. Vaccines are safe and help your immune system fight off serious disease that can stop or change your plans. They protect you, the people you love, and can prevent you from getting sick. Let's get vaccinated, because when it comes to your health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. For more information, visit sa.gov/health.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
Progressive knows RV owners like to travel at a nice, relaxing pace. Just like this commercial. They're not rushing to a departure gate at the airport because they depart from their driveway. And they can relax even more knowing they're protected by Progressive. Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
At Natural Bridge Caverns, the passage of time and moving water have carved out a massive underground creation. Hidden Wonders, our newest cave tour. Watch thousands of lights reveal otherworldly sculptures in a massive canyon with a sound and light show finale. Or visit the largest of our two caverns with a discovery tour, winding through majestic rooms with incredible formations. Above ground, top off your adventure with a zip along the sky rails on our towering ropes course. Choose your adventure at naturalbridgecaverns.com.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for. From smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Let me finish chewing my taco.
You could gum those tacos.
Yeah.
Man,
that hit the spot.
Not only is their carne asada great, but their a la mexicana fried is.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, man.
God, those are good tacos, man.
Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Well done.
Not an advertiser, but shout out to Benny's.
Yeah, man. Not an advertiser. This is not a paid endorsement.
They're close to us, and
it's good stuff.
And they are open early.
Yeah.
And man, they smack.
They do.
Like those two tacos are elite tier. Breakfast tacos.
I only had one, and I'm sleeping.
At least this time the kitchen was open. Last time,
I know. They
last time Vic was there, he was in the line with the rest of the people before they came out and said, no food today.
Did you go with carne asada?
A la Mex.
See, I got you guys on the wagon, huh?
Yeah, you know, we
It's a
started,
winner, baby.
Remember, we found this place a year ago in our hunt for the best carne asada.
Yeah.
And while they continue to have that, have you noticed they've added a little bit more spice?
I noticed that too, yeah.
But the a la mexicana has.
I'm fine with that.
I want a soft fried egg on that thing.
Oh,
Just going to add a
good.
little suggestion.
That would be pretty good. It'd be a mess.
Oh,
but it'd be good.
Get it all over you, baby.
Yeah. Oh man, it's got good jalapeno flavor. I mean, that's a good taco. Good taco. All right. As we continue to discuss this this team, I heard something yesterday that I don't know why. I guess I hadn't considered, but it's a fact. Is Oklahoma City is their team? Well, they've got the big three that they all they took in the first round. They were like the majority of their rotation is undrafted or second round guys.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something to finding guys who will buy into your system without having that superstar mentality. And quite frankly, outside of Chet, none of these guys were like wildly pedigreed when they came into the NBA.
And if they ever leave Oklahoma City, they'll go back to where they were. This is just a unique combination of dogs that are willing to forego individual success or achievement for team success. But they're not. You think Lou Dort is going someplace to start? You think Alex Caruso will ever start anywhere? No. But
they are perfect for this.
But Dort does start. I shouldn't say that. But are they going to – because Dort at some point a couple years ago, remember, averaged 17 points a game. He had a game that he is now kind of subjugated to the rest. But Dort is not a 17-point-a-night guy because if Keldon Johnson for the Spurs is given 17 a night, you don't have enough talent. He's not that good. But is he an NBA dude that contributed to success? Yes, but that's the witchcraft that Presti brought together.
Well, last night they talked about Isaiah Hartenstein in his when he was the G League Finals MVP.
He hit 8 threes in a game,
and now he's just he doesn't do that now. That's not his game anymore. Think about
it. It shouldn't be. My God,
how wild is that?
It's witchcraft,
but that's
man.
inside him, and he's just okay, I don't need that.
I mean, it's not inside him. That's crazy. I've seen enough of him to know you're not allowed to shoot threes, and they don't let him shoot threes. But it is this witchcraft of finding dudes that are capable of coming together. They are greater than the sum of their parts, and that is the most difficult thing to do in any sport.
It reminds me a little bit of what the University of Houston's done in the last 4 or 5 years.
Finding a system and getting dudes that fit into it.
It's not always getting the top tier. It's almost like Shaka Smart used to do. It's not necessarily getting 5-star guys. It's getting guys who are willing to do.
Everything you're saying is correct, but there's a reason also behind this is eventually they're going to have a payroll of their top 3 dudes making $150 million a year. So you're going to have to find 8 other undrafted, ready to go, sacrifice your soul for a win kind of thing because you can't afford to go any other direction. If you're going to keep these 3 dudes together, each one of them is going to make over $50 million a year in 3 years. So it's just going to be the nature of the beast. You can't stock your roster with anything other than dudes like Caruso that journeymen that have a job to do. They know their job and they know their value. You can pay them just enough, but not more. And you hope the dudes you bring in to replace the dudes that are going to go get paid someplace can do it. And that's when I look at this team. Is Shai Gilgeous, by the numbers, he's Kobe. By the numbers, he's Kobe. But is he capable next year of lifting and carrying this team when things aren't going right and some of these dudes are wanting to get paid? And then, hey, man, I'm part of did you see what I did in the finals last year? I need more minutes. Look at me. So there's things coming down the road for a young basketball team without, at least from on the outside, an absolute dominant dude, both on and off the court. I'm not sure he's Tim Duncan in that measure. I think he's Tim Duncan in a lot of ways, but is he the guy that will guide and carry this franchise, be the tent post? No matter what happens, we can always look back to him. And that's where Tim took it over. That's why he's a GOAT. Now can Shai do that?
Yeah. Now there are certainly signs that point to seems
terrifying,
possible.
dude. Not possible. It seems almost probable because there's only one thing that Shai wants to do.
Just
play ball, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in OKC. It's the perfect lab for him. I think he's got a pretty good social media presence. They have a little bit of fun on the side, but this ain't LeBron. He's not getting tugged 1,000 directions. He plays basketball.
Yeah, and like you said, I think they are going to have to go with this sort of you've got to hit on everything. Unless they get to a certain point and then they say, you know what, maybe it's time to trade Jalen Williams and get 4 first-round picks.
You know what?
And like they did with Paul George.
Absolutely. And you'd think that's probably imminent. That's what's so scary about this team is they're fully capable of rolling the dice, keeping 2 of their top 3, letting one go and bringing in another dog. I mean, it just looks like they're built for the stages. Every 3 years, we're going to be in a place to where we can make them move to continue the process. And if we can continue rolling every 3 years with this kind of thing, without external forces, this is a scary proposition. This is a young team that can only get better. This was not a pretty series. This was not the best they can play. And some credit goes to the Pacers, but for the most part, I think they look inside. This wasn't. We never got dialed in, but I'll be damned, the defense travels.
Yeah, and everybody can play defense. That's the thing. To a man, there's not a guy on that team that gets minutes anyway. That is I shouldn't say there's not a one-way player, but because there are some one-way players, but they're all the defensive way. There's nobody on that team that is just all they do is go in and play offense. And when you have that mindset as a team, Like, you understand, like, you don't get on the floor if you don't D up hard. Dude, these guys, it is a dogfight for minutes.
And it's not a hard defense to play. I mean, these guys, they just play man defense. It's
It
not
is.
like
It's
you're learning
it's
some
poking
kind of
away.
Yeah.
It's
the jump the pass routes, but it's ball you man defense, man. That's, you just know, and you go and ball up. There's just not, you come to the Spurs, and a lot of teams, they play great defense, but it's a system defense that you have to kind of fall into and learn where to be and how to be and all that. It can take, at least with Pop's old defense, it would take a year and a half before you could trust a guy to be where he needed to be on defense. It was so intricate. This is not that. This is get on the ball and don't let him get by you.
And 21 turnovers last night for the Pacers. And I just can't even imagine having to be a ball handler. And it's Dort, Caruso, and Cason Wallace just rotating, coming at you. It's like,
well, I'd like to see what their forearms look like.
Oh,
I bet they are battered,
bruised up
scratched.
wrists.
Oh, man, when you come out of those games, 7 games of Lou Dort scratching down on your arms,
Oh,
man,
my gosh.
it'd be like coming out of a UFC fight, just battered up forearms and elbows. And if you're playing defense against Shai Gilgeous, that forearm to the chest that you have to take over and over and over. Forearm to the chest extends shot. Forearm to the chest extends shot. Over and over and over.
Well, get the job done. 103-91, win Game 7, win the series. They are your NBA champions. I guess the next question becomes,
can the Rockets beat them?
Well, that is an interesting question. I did want to talk a little more about Shai, and we'll do that on the other side. Some of the numbers that he put up this season and have put him in a pantheon of guys that it's almost mind-blowing that that's where he is. We'll talk about that next. Morning Huddle 94.1.
Dr. Jacob Torres is my doctor. He has been for a couple of years. I met him 8 years ago as the founder of the Institute for Functional Health. I walked in the door looking to lose some weight. I didn't think I could, but I'd heard some good things from people that I knew who I didn't think were capable of losing weight on their own. They did. I thought, well, if they can, I can. And when I met Dr. Torres, he explained to me why he's been successful with those guys, me included. It's because he understands how we got here. And all of us came down the weight loss track a different way. Some of us put on weight later. Some of us put it on earlier. But whatever the case may be, we're all sick and tired of the way we look and feel. And he put together a program for me that fit, just works. 8 years later, I'm still on it, well past my initial goal. And I continue to lose weight because it's a program I can live with. I want that for you. If it's time to lose weight, if you don't want to deal with the GLPs and the shots and all the stuff that goes along with it, I think the best place for you to start and to finish is the Institute for Functional Health. Call him today. The number's 210-468-1891. His website is iffhealth.com. Go there first. It's a great resource. If it's time to lose weight, if you're ready to feel better, call Dr. Torres today. He'll change your life. And when he does, come on by and thank me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. If your travels are taking you along 35 southbound through the Selma area from Olympia Parkway on down to 1604. Roadwork right lane is closed, and that has you stop and go from Evans. This ongoing roadwork downtown, 35 upper level, southbound Alamo on down to Laredo Street. That is still closed, with traffic being forced to take the lower level. Now, if you guys see something we're not talking about, call us on the traffic tip line. We'll check it out. 210-785-2601. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. Violence prevention is injury prevention.
911, what's your emergency?
Keep guns locked, secure, and out of reach of children. Firearms are the leading cause of death for people under 20. Never leave a gun in your vehicle. Stolen firearms are often used in other crimes. In a moment of conflict, don't let a split decision become a lifetime of regret. Never celebrate with gunfire. It's dangerous and illegal. Prevent an injury, store guns safely. Learn more at sa.gov/health.
Help UTSA football make history. Pack the Dome for the Battle of I-35 on September 6th. From now until June 26th, tickets to the Texas State game are 35% off. The Roadrunners are looking to break the all-time home attendance record of 56,743 fans set in the inaugural game in 2011. Be there. Visit goutsa.com/tickets or call 210-458-8872 to take advantage of this 35% offer. Be part of history. Birds up.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
See website for details. Bills Happen is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to billshappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
Bills Happen is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to billshappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to billshappen.com. That's billshappen.com. Billshappen.com.
This is Jason Minix from The Blitz. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is Vic stuff right here.
Yeah. Oh, man.
This ain't for
Purple
me.
Rain, baby. See, Prince, this is the best song that is unheralded on this record.
This is a I don't know if I would call it a B-side, but this is certainly a deeper cut.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Not the one I would have picked, but it's you know what?
And if you're in Minneapolis, go to the Paisley Park. Go there.
Have you been there?
I went there when we were up for the Super Bowl, and I did the free part, but I didn't pay.
Oh, okay.
It was expensive, and I didn't have a lot of time, but it's really cool.
Okay.
There was a thing that was floating on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, and it wasn't that long ago. Like, what was the star when they died that really kind of personally affected you? Prince, when he died, was a shock.
Yeah.
I mean, that was part of my musical lineage, you know.
Yeah, I grew up with that movie.
Yeah.
For me, it was Michael Jackson, but it was only personal because he molested me as a child.
Well, you'd have think you'd have had a better settlement. The other ones did all right.
Like me and Macaulay Culkin were over playing Nintendo, and then
next thing you know, you were petting his monkey.
Do you guys want to see my chimp?
Want to see my monkey?
Nope.
That's a funny looking monkey.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like a traffic cone. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander last night. You heard Adam Silver say the first person in 25 years to lead his team or lead the NBA in scoring, win the league MVP, and win the Finals MVP in the same season. Shaq was the last one to do that.
Remember, they had to change the rules after that year.
Yes. Before that, it was Jordan. This is not it's not something that happens very often. And some of the numbers that SGA put up are absurd. Well, first of all, for the players that have all three of those awards, MVP, Finals MVP, and a scoring title, the list is 9. 9 men in the history of time have done all three of those things. And if you listen to the list of it, it is essentially a who's who of NBA all-time greats. Kareem, LeBron, Jordan, Shaq, Durant, Kobe, Curry, Chamberlain. Wow. That's the list. Now add Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And the only one to do it younger than Shai was Kareem, who was by 23 had already done all three of those things. And this season, even maybe the most impressive thing, the highest scoring season for any player to win the NBA championship in history is SGA this year. 32.7 points per game, beating out Michael Jordan, 32.6 points per game in 1993. This is one of those seasons, like an unprecedented, phenomenal season that we just witnessed.
Yeah, and you wonder if he'll be able to continue it, because he's doing this in an era of free-flowing basketball where, the teams are scoring 110 points a night, 115 points a night. So it's a time when you should be averaging like that. And if you compare, it's not what Jordan did. And that's why because back then they were scoring 90 points a night and he was getting 32,
Right.
So it meant more for those baskets. So now's the time. In this era, you better go average this, because this is what the league is set up for. And that's what I think the problem with him separating that Michael didn't have is because the rules are set up for guys to go get these kind of numbers. We don't really realize how good he is, because there's a highlight of a dude every night going and getting 40. Every night there's a 50 burger once a week.
No, you're right.
But Shai is capable of doing what Michael did back then, because a lot of his game is mid-range. This ain't shooting wide open threes. This is getting in the paint, drawing fouls, doing it the old-fashioned Michael way. I mean, his and ones are his three-point game. So he's not getting the credit he's due, because this era, there's a lot of dudes that are able to do that because the rules are different. He can do what Michael did.
Now, you mentioned the way that the league is different now, but also in terms of usage, 34.8, Jordan 34.7 that same year.
It translates. What he does feels like that Jordan year, even though it doesn't feel like the weight of what Jordan did is the same. Because, again, he was getting a third of their points. He's not getting a third of their points, but his usage is a third of the time. I mean, he is that valuable, and the game translates. So the question for him is going to be, if you do it again, I think you'll get the credit for it. This year was so outlandish, so ridiculously good from out of nowhere that people are going to go, yeah, do that again, because this could be an anomaly. This could be the refs allowing you 8 extra points a night because of the foul calls for being the merchant. We're going to have to see if you do that next year. I can tell you, don't give him a chance, because he will. I mean, he's that good. He's capable of doing it again.
There is a chart on ESPN that it's wild to see, like in black and white, but it compares Michael Jordan's 91 through 93 seasons, which are about as good as it gets for a guard in the history of the NBA. Now, and it puts SGA's numbers right next to it, and they're basically identical.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 31.4 points per game on both sides, a few more assists per game, like 5.7 to 6.0. Shai has 6.0. Exact same turnover numbers. Jordan about a little over a rebound better. Usage almost exactly the same. Shai slightly higher. True shooting, Jordan 58, SGA 63, but true shooting versus the NBA average, they're both 9% better than the average. And then PER, 29.7 for Jordan, 29.1 for Shai. Now, it doesn't take into account defense. And remember, Jordan was all defense all 3 of those years, if I'm not mistaken. Clearly a better defensive player. But on one side of the ball, Shai, his last 3 years have rivaled the 3 greatest years of Michael Jordan's career on the offensive end. That's wild. And like you said, he's not even really a superstar yet.
No, he doesn't feel like it's there yet. It still feels like things are coming into focus for him, and it was a ridiculously good year. You know, one of the other things that we also have to keep in mind is when Michael was doing it, he was doing it in an offense, the triangle offense, that was designed for him. That's designed. True. He was getting down cuts, and he had the pick and pop dudes. He always had a shooting big that allowed space, and the way that they designed the offense for him to flow downhill. Shai doesn't play in that kind of offense. This is a man-on-man, here's the ball, go get it kind of deal. He gets a high pick and roll, which is what the league has become. But not like Michael had. Michael had 2 and 3 cuts a game, a play. You know, he was able to come back out and get open and had guys coming to help. Where Shai, he has a picker, and that's it. And if the picker doesn't help, he's not rolling or popping. It's up to you, baby. Michael had a much different kind of offense to function and be that kind of threat.
Yep. All right, let's hit a break. We'll be back. We'll wrap up hour number 1. I've got some other comps for Shai that I want you to hear. It is the Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
O'Reilly. Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free in or out of your vehicle. We can help you find the best battery for your vehicle and budget. O'Reilly Auto Parts has batteries starting at just $89.99. Get your battery tested for free today at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You've decided to divorce. I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you're worried about getting the bills paid, childcare, and your divorce, we'll help make it simple, painless, and affordable.
Your future matters. Call the law office of Steve Benke.
Call 210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Mom, it's like the 80s in here. It's so hot.
It's totally in the 80s. Our AC is bogus.
Call Right Home Services.
At Right Home Services, we love the 80s, just not on your thermostat. Don't get stuck with a bogus AC. The right AC services, the right team, and the right price. 210-444.
The right stuff.
Now we can chill, Mom.
Have you been thinking about starting TRT? The time is now. You can visit any Synergenics or Low T center and get your consultation and test free. Don't let Low T slow you down this summer. Get the energy you need at Low T Center and Synergenics. Offer limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up Monday on The Blitz, we have an NBA champion. All the reaction from the Sunday night Game 7. The latest on the Kevin Durant trade watch. Plus, it's officially draft week. What are the Spurs going to do with that number 2 pick? We're talking about it on The Blitz Monday starting at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hated on by most of these players. I don't know how to do this one properly without the...
Yeah.
All right. When I saw this morning, I was like, this is crazy. There's a story basically talking about how Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who wasn't even the leading scoring freshman on his college team, and got traded twice, like in his first couple years of his career, got drafted by Charlotte and got traded on draft night. 7 years later, it says, SGA is a surefire Hall of Famer if he never plays another game. It says, the only retired MVP in league history who's not in the Hall of Fame is Derrick Rose.
Well, he'll go. I mean, he'll get in.
And it's right. It says Shai's resume is already way better than Derrick Rose's.
Well, you put a ring on that, yeah.
Yeah. So after that year that he won the MVP, he never made another All-NBA team.
Oh,
so
he's doing it on one leg.
Yeah. Speaking of All-NBA, this is Shai now 3 first-team All-NBA nods. That is the same amount that Isaiah Thomas got in his career.
Mm-hmm.
That is the same amount. Now, mind you, Isaiah played directly against Jordan and Magic, which is like the worst possible time to try and be. And that was back when it was like
everybody had guards then.
Guards, 2 forwards, center. That's what all NBA looked like. There was no wiggle room for what position you could be.
Even though we always talk about the point guards in that era, but Magic was just one of many. It was the point guard era. Everybody had one.
But Isaiah was the third best guard in an era where the first 2 were probably
you had to be good, and he was considered great. Isaiah was one of the best to ever do it, no doubt. Just a jerk.
Steve Nash had 3 first-team All-NBAs.
Mm-hmm.
Allen Iverson, 3 first-team All-NBAs in his career. Now, here's a list of guys who only had 2. Lenny Wilkins, Russell Westbrook, Dwayne Wade, John Stockton, Gary Payton, Pete Maravich, Earl Monroe, Reggie Miller, Dame Lillard, Sam Jones, Hal Greer, Dave Bing, Ray Allen. So he's already passed those guys.
And those are all Hall of Famers. Everyone you just mentioned is Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Shai's a Hall of Famer.
Well, yeah.
I mean, already. He's 26, though.
Well, yes.
If I said, will Shai be better next year than he was this year, like what?
I don't think his output will be that. But, yeah, he's getting better.
It feels that way. It doesn't feel like he's declining.
But, as his team matures, you don't – championship teams traditionally don't have the leading scorer in the league. I mean, one doesn't lead to the other because you can shut that one down and the other doesn't happen. So it's going to be hard for him to maintain that kind of scoring edge if he doesn't get some help. He can't be the only one doing this on a regular basis. This was a ridiculous year. I mean, it's just hard to do that year in and year out. Michael was right there, but even he didn't do it every year. Just to lead your team in scoring, the league in scoring, and every night be the dude. It's now when you are the man and you're getting beaten like he's going to get beat up for the next year, it's hard to do what Michael did. So he's going to need to get some help.
Since the invention of the shot clock, only Shai, Jordan, Shaq, and Kareem have won the scoring title and the championship in the same season.
Yeah, see, it's an outlier, and he might very well just be just like that.
Jordan did it 6 times, mind you.
He might very well be that, but the numbers tell us it's hard to do that more than 1 year. It's hard to do it, and so I don't expect him to even need to do it for them to maintain. And if he can, we're going beyond Hall of Fame. We're going headed toward Mount Rushmore kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're getting up to the level of best in that position ever, and that's a pretty long line.
Mark says, comparing a free throw merchant to a healthy Derrick Rose, LOL, the world is delusional. Dude, Derrick Rose is not even in the same conversation.
He had a glorious year. No one will ever take away what he did that 1 year, but it was not a repeatable thing, even if he was healthy. It's just little guys just can't succeed over and over and over in the league. It's a big man's game.
Healthy Derrick Rose. The 1 year he was healthy, it's like...
It was ridiculous. I don't want to take anything away from what Derrick did and what he could have done for a couple of years.
But he ain't Shai.
No.
Not even close.
It's just it's a different style.
No, I think what we just saw was a pretty special season from him. I mean, obviously the team itself is incredible, but the idea that you're right. The scoring typically doesn't lead to team success.
It leads to success. It doesn't lead to titles.
Right, but I think it's unless your scorer is also. I mean, last night how many assists did he have last? He was in double digits. Like, unless he's willing to at times let his other guys shine.
AJ. Your body can't do it. You can't. To long-term success, the secret is just enough eggs in every basket, not too many anywhere. And with a guy like Shai, just like when Michael got hurt or had the issues, that team, it was done. I mean, they're donezo. So their intent should be, we don't need you to be that. We got J-Dub and we got this and that. You don't have to be a 31 a night. Yeah, we're going to need 40 from you probably 20 times. We are going to have nights where you carry us. But for the most part, for us to win titles, we just need you to do this stuff in June, May and June. We don't want you to have to go get 35 in February. That's just wasting time and effort. We need you to be ready later. So ideally, average 26 a night with big 40 nights to carry us through. But we need to get you some help, man. You can't sustain like this.
Yeah, but I mean, based on age and trajectory, I mean, Jalen Williams made an All-NBA team this year. He's got an up arrow.
I expect more.
I think Chet's got an up arrow.
I think, I'm agreeing with all of that. But I don't want to put – there's been a lot of dudes that had great years. Nothing like this. But now the world knows who you are. And we all know you're a star. You might very well be a superstar, but I think we're sitting here throwing stats out to prove a fact. Nobody looked at last night and go, he's one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
Did anybody come out at the end of this week going, you know what? That's one of the best I've ever seen. When it kind of was, but did you really feel like it was? No.
Are you talking about Shai?
I'm talking about Shai as a player in this series.
Okay. No, I didn't feel that way.
But the numbers say he was. So
Yeah.
I think we're having to justify some of this. Now, you do this 2 years in a row. You don't even have to win a title. You do exactly offensively what you did this year again. Now we're really talking. Now you're going to have some cred. Right now, the old vets are going, you look super, you look incredible, but do it again. Do it again, and then we'll let you in the club.
Well, they do seem poised to do it again, and certainly the odds project them doing it again as the NBA title odds for next season. Your favorites, the Oklahoma City Thunder, plus 220.
Yeah. When was the last time we had a repeat champion? 8 years ago?
8 years ago.
A lot of guys felt this way.
But you know what? This is the thing.
This year's different?
I think so. Because
we felt that way before.
If not them, who?
Well, I mean, I agree, but we felt that way before.
I get it, but I mean, but
the league is not set up for them to win. It is
you're
stacked
right.
against them.
But if I said, okay, the Thunder don't win next year, who's the closest to them? These other.
I'm just
Cleveland,
throwing out,
who lost in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, but so did the OKC last year. There's everybody's growing. There's been a lot of teams over the years that you looked at and went next year. Even the Spurs couldn't do it back to back. I mean, even the greatest generation couldn't do it year after year. There's just the league keeps coming, and right now Shai is at the door of immortality. He won't walk through it. He hadn't walked through it yet. He's at the door, though. You do it again and run it back and win 2 in a row, you become immortal.
Your second favorite is Cleveland. Well, Cleveland and the Knicks tied plus 650. The Rockets, who we'll talk a lot about, we'll discuss a lot coming up, are plus 850. The Orlando Magic plus 950.
See, now we're into the number 3 pick of the draft. Now we've taken a step down. We've already all the contenders have been brought up. If we're bringing in Orlando,
Boston 13-1, Minnesota and the Lakers 14-1, Nuggets 16-1, Clippers 25-1, Spurs and Warriors both 28-1.
Wow, that's pretty good.
And then you get, after that, everybody's 30-1. I mean, these Pacers, 60-1.
Especially
60-1.
Well, they just lost their MVP for the year. I mean, right off the bat, they're going to be, even though it might not be that big of a loss, it's still they lost their MVP. In fact, 60-1, I'd put some money down. That's today. Shoot,
dude, they ain't winning the title.
No, but I mean, they're not going to be that bad
because we did see something that you and I talked about a lot come to fruition. You have to have a top 5 player in the league to win the NBA title. And the Pacers didn't.
Mm-hmm.
The Thunder did. And that's what I think that's a hard trend to buck, it seems. Like, it does not seem like that's anytime soon going to go away because, it's every single year.
The league is set up for stars to be stars.
Yes. And again, not just stars, superstars.
Yes, if you have the ability, you're going to get every opportunity to do it.
And again, I'm not looking to throw dirt on Tyrese Halliburton. What he did this postseason was impressive, but Tyrese Halliburton's a good player.
He's the same guy that started the playoffs. He's a good player, real NBA All-Star. But that's it. No more, no less.
Pascal Siakam, good player. Neither one of them are superstars. Neither one of them are good enough to be the best player on a championship team that can throw a team on their back and carry them to a title. They're just not that.
Well, there's only 5 guys in the world that can do that.
Exactly. And the Thunder have one.
Yeah.
All right. Hour number 1 in the books. We got more to discuss. I want to ask you, and we're going to do KD in the next hour, but I also want to ask you, is there an excuse for the Pacers, and is it a real excuse? We'll do that next. Morning Huddle 94.1.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
6 for 6, and the Aggies have the lead.
Your home for Aggies football. KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
South Texas summer is no joke. With temperatures in the triple digits, your roof takes a beating. Call Stevens Roofing and Solar at 210-785-0994. They're local, family-owned, and ready to help. Get a free, no-obligation roof inspection from a team that knows South Texas weather. Whether it's commercial or residential, a small repair, or a whole new roof, get peace of mind with Stevens Roofing. Call 210-785-0994 today. Stevens Roofing has you covered.
Find what you love, love what you find. A total wine and more. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation.
Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row.
Groundworks is the official foundation repair company of Texas Athletics. Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Gomez Law Firm has been fighting for the rights of San Antonians for 50 years. We have Jose with the Gomez Law Firm here. What is something you see often as a personal injury attorney and protecting your clients?
The one thing we always see without fault in a case is that the insurance company will always reach out to them soon after the collision and they try to get them to agree to a low settlement. They try to get them to agree to signing a piece of paper. They want them essentially to sign their rights away without ever even consulting with an attorney, right? In the grand scheme of things, if you sign a piece of paper, you're signing your future interest away. So that's why it's so important to call the Gomez Law Firm, because we make sure we protect your rights and you're not signing your life away, you're not signing your rights away.
If you or your family have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then call the Gomez Law Firm first. 210-736-4040 or visit joegomezlaw.com. Protect your family and protect your rights.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
It's summer. Time to enjoy long days, lazy nights, and great food. Because Uber Eats has deals all summer long. So, when hunger strikes, don't sweat it. Delicious deals are just a tap away on Uber Eats. Enjoy all your favorite grocery items delivered straight to you. Get ice cream, soda, and snacks from your favorite stores like Wegmans and CVS and make the most of every moment.
Now that sounds like a good summer. Order now on Uber Eats. Terms apply. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Your commute starting to fill in. We're slowing down along 35 northbound from Rittiman up to O'Connor. Southbound 35 Olympia Parkway on down to 1604. We've got some road work taking up the right lane. We've got a stall at 90 eastbound General Hudnell off to the shoulder and slowing down 90 eastbound Montgomery on over to Loop 410. And, of course, this ongoing road work downtown on 35 upper level. Southbound is closed between Alamo to Laredo Street. Traffic still being forced to take the lower level. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
It wasn't pretty, but it's over. The Oklahoma City Thunder won the second franchise championship, first in Oklahoma City history, 103-91 over the Indianapolis Pacers. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander named MVP. In other NBA news, the Houston Rockets won the Kevin Durant sweepstakes, acquiring the 15-time NBA All-Star for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and the number 10 pick in this year's draft. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
7:02 on the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. All right, Rob, the obvious question after this game was going to be, would the Thunder have done it had Halliburton not got hurt?
Yes, they would have done it.
Okay. So
Yes.
there's no excuses in your mind?
Well, I mean, you could cling to the possibility. I mean, I would. I mean, he's won them before. He has, in fact, won games in the last month that they were down by more at that point in the game. So, I mean, you can cling to it. But I think in your heart of hearts, you knew you go home as a Pacer fan knowing the better team won. There's some things we got to do.
There were numbers kicked around last night about the Pacers, when Halliburton is not on the floor, are middle of the pack league-wide as far as how much they turn the ball over. And when he's on the floor, they are the third lowest turnover rate in the league. So obviously he makes a difference. But in the 6 games that he played, he turned the ball over at a much higher rate than he did in the regular season. He
was going against the best defense out there. Yeah, he's in a tough position because they wouldn't have been there without him. But it was the moments. It wasn't the sustained effort that got him there. I mean, he had some great moments, but sustained games, it wasn't his best effort. But the moments mattered. The 3 big shots and all that will go down. They're going to miss him next year. We'll see. You'll see exactly what Halliburton's value was to them, because sometimes the guys that have no assists don't take any chances either.
Yeah, you know what?
That's kind of bothers me. I don't mind an errant attempt every now and again to make a play. And if you've got a guy so risk averse that he doesn't make the play, sometimes that's just as big a detriment as a turnover. Like, you just didn't make the pass. Go do what you got to do to get a completed pass.
I think there's a real possibility that we see Nembhard take a step and look like a star.
Well, Well,
next year.
he's not. I mean, Halliburton's a very good basketball player. He's an all-star caliber basketball player. Nembhard isn't yet. I think he's going to be.
Yeah,
I think he's got the potential to be that. And the Pacers are going to have to make a decision. Do they want to continue running this style of offense with two guys in shared responsibility and, one guy gets open, or do you want a legitimate one and a legitimate two and have that kind of offense? I don't know which way Carlisle's going to go, but I can give you an idea that Nembhard's going to get the ball. It's going to be that team, and you're going to be a little bit more offensive with a little bit fewer assists. You're just going to go get buckets instead of running through an offense that Halliburton captained.
What the Pacers do this offseason is interesting. 4 of the 5 starters are under contract. Miles Turner being the lone exception.
They're going to keep him cheap. He didn't make any money in this offseason.
I don't. Yeah, I think that his value went down in these playoffs. But I think he also has more value to the Pacers than he does to another team.
I mean, he's a mobile big. He had a lot of block shots. I mean, defensively, he's still solid. It's just that, man,
he's one of these guys who thinks he can shoot, and you just got to tell him, dude, you can't shoot anymore. You got to stop this.
Yeah, he's always been the tease, but continuity matters. They decided this time last year that they were going to run this team for the next couple of years. They decided a year ago that this is what the plan was, and they're going to continue with it. They signed those guys for a reason, and I don't see them moving anybody.
Meanwhile, the Thunder have all 15 players under contract for next season.
It's like to be a draft pick.
Not to mention, they've got Topic coming. Not everybody's going to be here.
Well, I mean, they're going to have it this way. Lots of low contracts, man.
Year one of the Shai extension doesn't start until 27-28. They have $52 million in non-guaranteed contracts. Dort and Hartenstein are amongst those. And they don't have to rely on the minimum free agent market because of, it's just not something that they're going to have to worry about.
They're not at the apron, no.
And also, I mean, they're not short on players. They got more players than they really need at this point. And they could have 6 first-round picks in the next 2 years,
which they're not.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect.
They're going to have to kick this can down the road because there's not enough room. They just have to keep moving. They'll trade current for laters because no room in the end. And I'm not going to get rid of this value. I'm just going to roll it down the street.
Colby, going back to last segment where I said you need a top 5 player to win, said Tatum nor Brown are top 5 players. Remember that going into last season, Jason Tatum, when they won the title last season, that was his 3rd consecutive year being on the first team All-NBA. Jason Tatum last year was one of the 5 best players in the league.
Yeah.
Now, he's not my favorite, but you don't get voted first team All-NBA 3 years in a row if you're not one of the top 5 players in the league. And that's when he won the title. That was the 3rd of 3 years in a row that he was first team All-NBA. It's hard to deny that was one of the top 5 players in the league. And again, you have to go back to the Detroit Pistons, the Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun Prince,
and it's also an outlandish
Darko.
Style. Well, they played a style. Well, they played a style of basketball that nobody else is playing. Boston jacking up threes at a historic pace this year. It was it's a style you don't necessarily have to be great. You just have 2 great players on the court. So sum total, they had a top 5 player every night. It might have been Jaylen Brown some nights.
Yeah,
but it's a little bit different. But I don't think anybody would question how good Tatum or Brown. Brown was the MVP, but Tatum was the top 5 player. And I think that combination carried him.
But that's what it takes to win titles in the NBA these days.
Yeah. And I think the league wants this. I think the league wants it still to be a star-driven league, and they want the best players to bring their teams with them. That's
what the NFL wants.
Well, yeah, and that's just how things are reffed. That's the best player was also the free throw merchant. There's a reason behind that. I mean, the stars need to go make it, and we're in this transition stage as we've talked about these numbers that Shai put together this year that don't really feel like he's the star that he actually played like. So once he does it again, if he does it again, then we'll get the star carrying the team.
Also, I guess you got to give him credit because remember the Pacers basically ran back the same roster that got swept out of the Eastern Conference Finals a year ago.
Continuity matters. It
and
does.
It would have been, I don't know, if I were a Pacer fan, it would have been hard for me to picture a better result than you got last year with the same squad. Like, okay, everybody's coming back after we just got swept by the Celtics.
Well, remember, they got swept by the Celtics, but they had only recently acquired Siakam. And they had they added him at the trade deadline last year. So this was a team still kind of finding their way. But I do think at the end of that, even though they got smoked by the eventual world champions, they looked at that team and said, you know what, this and that, we got enough. And they were right.
Yeah. And then the Thunder, who continue to, kind of tinker with their roster, the small things, but what a deal in hindsight the offseason acquisition of Alex Caruso was for this team. To give up Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso, that is in hindsight,
it was a great deal on both sides. Chicago ended up with a point guard that helped. So they got a guy that if the rest of the league would have known, if Chicago, I think, in hindsight, would have known, like, wait a minute, you had Caruso on your team as the G League coach, and you're about to trade me your number one draft pick for this non-drafted G League dude that you coached?
For this bald dude with a headband?
What do you know that I don't? Because it's one of those deals where you go, you want to do what? Keep in mind, Josh Giddey was a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
And you want to trade an undrafted free agent who picked up a ring in L.A. because he was in the room. What do you know that I don't? And they should have thought that, like, wait a minute, this deal is too good to be true. You're trading a top 10 pick who was a double-double machine when you had him for an off-the-bench, non-offensive rookie, not rookie, but undrafted free agent that last I saw was sitting on a bench in it was theft. And in hindsight, somebody should call the Bulls and go, dude, did you not think about this?
Although to call him a non-offensive player is now kind of wild because
he was a non-offensive player.
Yeah, and sure enough, man, there were moments in this series where he and Dort were, revelations on offense when it seemed like they had a hard time getting things going. And a lot of it is
Dort was the revelation when he was just hitting. He doesn't do enough. Stop just shooting threes. And when he was hot, he was hot. But Caruso, he would create his own shot.
He would.
Who'd have thought? It was a remarkable bit of scouting, and that's another one of those little side stories that creates a champion. You have to have moves like that. Unexpected dudes showing up and doing things unexpectedly in the perfect time. And he did that repeatedly this year.
No Smarba says they were giddy.
They were giddy about the deal.
I see what you did
You're
there.
offering me a top 10 pick for Alex Caruso. I don't understand.
Corwin says Cavs have no excuse next season.
They don't.
Well,
they don't.
They don't, except I don't know if they're good enough. Everything's kind of the path is opening for them with the Tatum injury. But
yes, keep in mind, as Oklahoma City was doing all these ridiculously historical things during the regular season, so was Cleveland. Cleveland was doing things that only world champions had ever done before for most of the year. The wins, the way they were winning, rebound, all those separating little numbers that add up to championships, for the most part, Cleveland was doing. So,
but you know what the difference is?
Shai.
One is built on defense, and that's the other thing. One has a top 5 player in the league.
Cleveland's built on defense, but they're built on length. They're built on size under the basket. They roll out 7-footers.
They have an elite defensive player, but
they have 2 elite defensive
that players. Is an offense-first team.
They're Donovan Mitchell. They're built on defense, man. Don't take away from what Cleveland. That's kind of their problem. They need to be more offensive. They're built on size.
They had a historically
and
great season offensively
because of the way they could run, getting balls off the board. Keep in mind, they're starting 2 7-footers out there. They are rolling out size to dominate the paint. Where Oklahoma City plays defense, but not in the paint. They're daring you to go shoot over Chet, but they're D'ing you up at the 3-point line. There's the difference.
Chet disagreed last night. As again, you talk about a guy who has growth potential.
He's the one I'm still guarded on. He's going to have to improve his wind. I want him to get a little bit tougher. For him to be the threat that he should be next year, he's going to have to work on some stuff, get stronger.
I think so too. But I also, much like Wemby, dude hasn't had a full season yet.
Yeah,
like it's hard to know what he's going to be. But
there's some times when I'm like he's a little lost. I mean, he's protected because he's the third best guy out there, and he only, he's also terrifying to play against.
Well, and he can also just take over on one end of the court
for brief amounts of time. For 4 minutes of time, he can really dominate. I want longer. I want more aggressive. Get stronger. Lower your center of gravity by about 6 inches. All those little things that young players have to do. He's part of that group too. He can only get better.
Yep. And think about it. He missed half the season this year. Half the season.
Which is another concern. Well, we're 2 out of 3
doubt.
years.
Yeah, dude, you got – well, no, it's he's a giant. Giants get hurt. I say this all the time. I don't think he's some kind of exception.
So that availability is going to be an issue too.
No doubt.
He's the biggest upside, but also the biggest question for their future.
And I agree with that. And again, I think he was the only blue chip guy that they drafted. He's the one, he was the only one of these guys that's a top 5 pick.
And they win without him. They do. I mean, they don't miss him. So that's not a good thing. I want him to be so good that if he's not there, they notice.
Well, I don't know that anybody on this team other than Shai is going to fit that bill.
Well, I mean, you're 7'5", dude. I want there to be a noticeable gap when you ain't around.
Well, and remember there was until Hartenstein showed up, and then it was like suddenly that
my
that
concern
helped.
is a journeyman showed up and did a job that you're number 1 overall pick, bro. So,
but again, you're thinking in terms of players and not system.
No, I agree. And he might not fit this system.
The idea that a guy like Chet is willing to play in a system so far. You're right. So far, they're all willing to do it so far.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's the same thing people said about San Antonio. Was and they kept doing it. You get addicted to winning. Winning's fun, and if your role isn't as big, it's way more fun to win and play a smaller role than lose and be the superstar. Ask these guys that have been in Washington D.C. and Charlotte the last few years. You don't want to be the best team on that or the best player on that.
2 years ago, we looked at Denver and thought, we got the best young coach. We got the best player in the world. We got Jamal has found his. I mean, there's a lot of things between now and later. We'll just see how it all holds together because it's a whole new world for Oklahoma City. They're going to party for a little bit, and then I think the realization of who they are and what they got to do from here on out will set in.
I think you and I look at these teams differently.
No, I think they're very good, but I've seen, again, 7 consecutive years, 8 now without a repeat. Doesn't mean that the teams didn't repeat aren't still real good. It's just this league is not set up for you to do it again. It's just not.
All right, let's hit a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about Kevin Durant, the newest Texan. He is coming back to Texas again. We'll talk about that, but not here.
And again.
Not here.
And again.
We'll talk about that next. Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Start.
I got to get business cards printed for my entire staff, but where do I even?
That was easy.
Oh, okay, Staples. But can I have bigger stuff printed too, like huge signs and banners?
That was easy.
Nice. And what if I had to ship a package?
That was easy.
Have my passport photo taken?
That was easy.
Coffee and snacks?
That was easy.
What about the latest laptops?
That was
Earbuds
easy.
and headphones?
That was
Office
easy.
chairs?
That was easy.
I think I also need to get some Staples.
Seriously?
I had to ask.
For everything your business needs to get the job done.
Staples. That was easy.
Calling all snack MVPs, it's time to huddle up with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, the low-carb, high-protein snack with a flavor-packed crunch. From sea salt and cracked black pepper to hot honey, sweet barbecue, and more, these bold bites are ready to tackle your crunch time cravings. Find your flavor playbook at H-E-B and make every bite count. Because when it's crunch time, there's only one snack you need on your team. Southern Recipe Small Batch.
June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. Violence prevention is injury prevention.
911, what's your emergency?
Keep guns locked, secure, and out of reach of children. Firearms are the leading cause of death for people under 20. Never leave a gun in your vehicle. Stolen firearms are often used in other crimes. In a moment of conflict, don't let a split decision become a lifetime of regret. Never celebrate with gunfire. It's dangerous and illegal. Prevent an injury, store guns safely. Learn more at sa.gov/health.
The right stuff. Mom, it's like the 80s in here. It's so hot.
It's totally in the 80s.
Call Right Home Services.
Don't get stuck with a bogus AC. 210-444.
Your marriage is over. You know it. Your friends know it. Take back control now with Barton & Associates, an aggressive, no-nonsense team of attorneys ready to fight for what you deserve. Contact us today at texasdivorce.com. That's texasdivorce.com.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
Hey, Tinsley, why don't we use EasyCater to order food for staff lunches?
Because my 46-page acronym system is so easy. I just have to salad, stay alert to late arriving deliveries, pie, put in expenses, and Google Pie. Go out and get everyone's preferences and allergy information.
That's supposed to be simple?
No, simple is Steve and Irma and Margie prefer lasagna and empanadas.
OMG.
No need to make work life more complicated. Just use EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
If you missed the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you missed this.
You're at the stadium. Right below us over yonder, there's a sign where you can buy mystery balls.
I want to see what the hell they are, though.
You know, we're not talking about some morning show cat, I can tell you that, but those were a mystery to Mr. Hoffman.
The cat's balls?
I don't know if that was a mystery or an infatuation.
Yeah, I think it was an infatuation.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime!
Oh, look at Vic come back with some Houston.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, here comes KD.
The other slim thug, Kevin Durant, headed to Houston, Texas. The offers weren't at least apparently the Spurs never made a serious offer,
or at least not in Phoenix's mind.
Right. Here's what Phoenix asked Miami for: Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic, Haywood Highsmith, the 20th pick, and they probably would have had to throw in Andrew Wiggins to make money match. That doesn't seem like anything.
Well, Jaquez is a player, and that would have allowed some space for Book. Jovic is a player, too, and he plays a lot like Durant, so he would have filled that gap. It would have gotten him there. That pick would have mattered, but I don't know why they didn't take that. I don't know why they didn't take it, because
why the Heat didn't take it?
Well, why the Phoenix didn't take it?
No, that's what Phoenix offered. Miami said no.
Well, I don't know why Miami didn't acquiesce to this. It was a bunch of. I like Jaquez, and I think they like him too much, and I think they like Jovic too. But the sum total, I don't know why that didn't happen. I don't know why both teams didn't go, all right. I know it was a bunch of little parts.
Yeah.
But it was enough parts to justify it, and it would have fit better around Devin Booker, which is obviously their future, than this. I don't know how Jalen Green and Devin Booker play together. I don't know where this fits on the offensive side of the ball. You're gonna force Devin Booker to be an 8-assist-a-night guy? Was that where you're going to turn him into one of the purest shooters in the world? You're going to put him with the ball in his hand. You don't have him coming off picks half the night.
It is.
I don't get what they're doing here. Now I like Dylan Brooks. 5 second rounders mean nothing. That's nothing. That's a pawn that's worth a dollar amount on it. Those will never be players. That's dollars. So that doesn't matter. That other pick, maybe. I mean, maybe that was the turn that they at least get a pick out of this.
Says, here, according to Arizona Sports 98.7 in Phoenix, the Suns are planning on keeping Jalen Green, do not plan on moving him to a different team. But obviously, he's going to be in a backcourt now with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal.
I don't see how this works.
Now, it says here, Green was a logical candidate to get dealt because of his upside and his salary. He signed a unique extension with the Rockets last offseason, 3 years, $106 million, with a player option after year 2.
It's cheap.
he was the first player to negotiate a 2+1 rookie extension on a 9-figure contract. Averaged 21, 5, and 4 with Houston. Started all 82 games, but it's.
Well, Beal's the odd man out in this. But
Beal's the guy that they want to be gone, but I don't know.
Well, he'll still be on the roster. They can't get rid of the albatross. But he'll have a nominal effect on this offense. This is going to be a Devin Booker, Jalen Green, ball, it's your turn, my turn kind of offense.
I guess so. And I like Dillon Brooks. I think Dillon Brooks is a good fit for a good team.
Exactly.
I think Dillon Brooks is a kind of waste on the Suns. But I think that was mostly salary matching and things like that.
And, tough guy.
Yeah, I don't know that he's going to help the Suns be any better. I don't think the Suns got any better. But the Rockets, I mean, it ends up like we had all this bluster about, oh, look what guys are going for now. What's KD going to go for? Well, it turns out not much.
Now, Houston is significantly better. But this is a team that you do need to worry about because this will be year 3 under Ime. Defense is front and center. And you've suddenly got, without hesitation, 25 a night to play with. You get 25 points from him a night you just can count on it. It's death taxes and Kevin going to go get 25. So they are a formidable team. It's going to be, can they play the defense without Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks that Ime wants them to play? Are they going to be able to go do that? Keep in mind, Reed Shepherd's going to have to take on a bigger role now. Yeah. Can he play the defense that's going to be required? Because offensively, I have no worries about this team. They're going to put 110 up without much issue. Can they stop somebody on a regular? And if they can, this could be one of those runs that Kevin Durant could go out with a ring on his hand because they legitimately can put together a kind of offense that's big and can shoot over you. And Sengun is a threat in the paint. He's the kind of guy that abuses. Look what I bet that his numbers against Chet are pretty good because I know they're pretty good against Wemby.
Yeah.
He plays well against those guys. So Houston they're not a dark horse anymore. They're a legit contender as they wake up today.
The projected starting 5 for the Rockets: Fred VanVleet, Amin Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith, Alperen Şengün.
Dude, Amin Thompson they're one of the best on-ball defenders in all of basketball. VanVleet is a dog, a winner. He got rings. He knows what he's doing. And then you look at that front court, man. That's a good basketball, really, really good basketball.
They got something going there, and they've got an excellent coach. There's something to watch for sure. But again, KD's health is always a question mark.
Always. And this is still an undisciplined basketball team. They still need to tighten up the fringes, and that's been Ime's challenge. And I think Jalen Green was a significant part of that. He's a bit of a wild Mustang, so I think it made it a little bit tougher for the rest to kind of dial in because he needed to have some freedom to kind of just go be Jalen Green.
I wonder like if Jalen was the first choice.
It would have been
for the Suns.
Yeah, I think it would have been because he was the most gettable. Jabari's probably the guy that was their first look, but everybody want him
or Şengün.
Well, keep in mind Şengün had already been signed. Remember, Şengün got that contract a couple of weeks ago, so I think everybody knew he was kind of off the table.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel I would have.
Well, everybody asked.
I'm also not a Jalen Green guy, but I would have asked. My first ask would have been Şengün, and then I would have asked for Amin Thompson, and then I would have asked for Jabari Smith.
No,
and then I would have asked for Jalen Green.
And they got no, Jalen. And Jalen was the most movable property. I mean, he is a 20-point-a-night athletic guy who on certain evenings can literally lift your team to he can go get 50. We know he's capable of it.
Chris says Spurs probably never even made a legitimate offer, and that's what makes me mad about
They didn't
this
make
team.
a single offer. They listened.
They never go to get a effing superstar. I would rather have KD over Fox. I was so mad they never made a legitimate offer. Durant's a freaking bucket. I don't know. I think that
there's arguments both sides.
I
get it.
I do too. I just don't know. Durant is not on the same timeline as this team.
I do think there's some of that.
And
a lot of it is, I just want to see this. I just want to see him draft Dylan. I want to see if these three dudes can go do what I think is possible. And I don't think for a year that it's a bad idea to go chase. I really don't. Now, I do think next year we're going to have a very good idea what this team's going to look like and what is needed and what is required. I think they're coming in right at the edge of the playoffs as we sit right now. And I do think that we do need to see this team in the playoffs next year. And I think this is a team that's capable of it with the roster. If they don't do anything and just draft 2 and 14, I think there's enough there to win 45 games. And if you win 45 games in this NBA, you get to go to the playoffs.
I do think, based on what got traded away, I think Devin Sohan, 14th pick, and maybe
I still think there's a market. I just can't imagine they come with 2 first-rounders. It just seems like we're already so young, and there's already so much to do with a new coaching staff and a young coach. I for those that are looking for a move, I still think one's imminent. I just can't imagine that even if they draft a dude, it might be a Dillingham. We see the draft, and suddenly he's gone kind of thing because we don't have enough time to develop. And you don't send a 14 pick down to the G League all year long. You don't do that.
I'll say this now. If I'm the Spurs with the 14th pick, I want to trade down later into round 1, and I want to draft Ryan Kalkbrenner because
you might get him. I don't know what the Tide's telling you. You might be able to get him undrafted. You might be able to sign him.
No, he's going to get drafted. He's
I don't know what I haven't heard.
The last couple of mocks I've seen, he's a first rounder now. But you're talking about a 22-year-old man who is already size is the first thing to take in the NBA. Like if you've got size, you can already do a lot of the things.
He has the right to find his right spot. But 4-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year, that's enough to get you.
Yeah, if you say, hey, we need you to be a one-way player, we'll wait for the offense to come. That's ideal, and I think he would fit this team very well. I think you're overdrafting at 14.
You're overdrafted in the first round, in my. I think he's not Zach Edey. He's not.
I think he's better than Zach Edey.
If he's better, then it's a
because Zach. I mean,
Zach was almost Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Now they're very different, and what?
Well, are they?
Yeah. One is elite defensively. The
Both
other
of
one,
them are.
I don't think Zach Edey's elite defense. Zach Edey's too slow-footed to be elite defense. I mean, Zach Edey puts his hands up and blocks some shots.
2 years in a row.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, he was
in the Big Ten. He was the Defensive Player of the Year. He plays. I mean, it's just size. He's exactly Kalkbrenner. They're the same dude.
No, I think Kalkbrenner's got way more game than him.
You're talking about the 2-time Naismith Player of the Year, Zach Edey. You're talking Kalkbrenner. No, his highest aspiration is Edey, and if he is, then maybe he's a first-round pick.
Okay.
I mean, he's not terrible, but you're not giving Edey enough credit. I mean, there's a reason why he was almost Rookie of the Year, doing the exact thing that we expect Kalkbrenner to be able to do. I mean, stand in the paint, be huge.
Well, I didn't know Zach. I mean, Zach Edey was, especially in Memphis, was scoring some points.
If not for Castle and health, I think he'd have been Rookie of the Year.
I don't think they're going to ask Kalkbrenner to do anything on offense.
No, and I don't think they were expecting Edey to be able to do what he did do. I think there's room for Kalkbrenner, but he's not quite Edey. There's some things that he's a little slow, but he's a better distance shooter. I'll give him. He's a better 3-point shooter.
Yeah, but I don't know that I want.
I know you like those. You like big space heater guys.
Yeah,
and I know there's a lot of NBA coaches do. I just don't know what Mitch's preference is. The Spurs have never had big space heaters ever. They've always been mobile bigs who like to bounce pass.
Yeah,
that's been Pop's way.
Well, they need somebody to.
I agree, and I don't know what their style is. But you and I both agree we want a big dude to do big dude things.
Yes.
But sometimes that's a power forward, and it's not a 7 for you know what I mean. So I don't know what Mitch is looking for, but I think we can all agree we want a guy that'll go get 8 rebounds a night, defend the second best big on the team, and sell out and be a protector. That's what we're looking for.
What I saw last night is if you put a Hartenstein type next to Wemby, I think you can have a little bit of that front line.
That's exactly.
That's terrifying.
Yes. A guy that will just protect and do a high pick and roll dude, the best in the business. So exactly that's what they're chasing. And they're hard to find, though.
They are.
Those guys ain't easy.
All right. Let's hit a break. When we come back, I've got some sound from the finals and some sound on the KD stuff as well. We'll do that next. It's the Morning Huddle 94.1.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Your commute starting to fill in. We're slowing down along 35 northbound from Rittman up to O'Connor. Southbound 35 Olympia Parkway on down to 1604. We've got some road work taking up the right lane. We've got a stall at 90 eastbound General Hudnell off to the shoulder and slowing down 90 eastbound Montgomery on over to Loop 410. And, of course, this ongoing road work downtown on 35 upper level. Southbound is closed between Alamo to Laredo Street. Traffic still being forced to take the lower level. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rocket. Rocket.com is the new home for all things home ownership. Whether you're buying your first home, finding your next one, or unlocking home equity to fund one of your dreams, there's only one destination that has everything you need to get started, all under one roof. Get started today at Rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, San Antonio, multiple tours overseas, years of protecting the country, it all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training toward our low-cost degree and certificate programs. We call that credit where credit is due. For over 75 years, our dedicated success coaches have been helping service members achieve their goals. Get started with local support and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATS.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Hey guys, are you or your spouse looking to lose weight in time for summer? Head over to any Synergenics or Low T Center for prescription weight loss treatment options. If you qualify for treatment, you can get a free B12 shot when you start. Offer limited. Book now at FixMyLowT.com.
June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. Violence prevention is injury prevention.
911, what's your emergency?
Keep guns locked, secure, and out of reach of children. Firearms are the leading cause of death for people under 20. Never leave a gun in your vehicle. Stolen firearms are often used in other crimes. In a moment of conflict, don't let a split decision become a lifetime of regret. Never celebrate with gunfire. It's dangerous and illegal. Prevent an injury, store guns safely. Learn more at sa.gov/health.
Mom, it's like the 80s in here. It's so hot.
It's totally in the 80s. Our AC is bogus.
Call Right Home Services.
At Right Home Services, we love the 80s, just not on your thermostat. Don't get stuck with a bogus AC. The right AC services, the right team, and the right price. 210-444. The right stuff.
Now we can chill, Mom.
See website for details. Bills Happen is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to billshappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
Bills Happen is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to billshappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to billshappen.com. That's billshappen.com. Billshappen.com.
At Natural Bridge Caverns, the passage of time and moving water have carved out a massive underground creation. Hidden Wonders, our newest cave tour. Watch thousands of lights reveal otherworldly sculptures in a massive canyon with a sound and light show finale. Or visit the largest of our two caverns with a discovery tour, winding through majestic rooms with incredible formations. Above ground, top off your adventure with a zip along the sky rails on our towering ropes course. Choose your adventure at naturalbridgecaverns.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up Monday on The Blitz, we have an NBA champion. All the reaction from the Sunday night Game 7. The latest on the Kevin Durant trade watch. Plus, it's officially draft week. What are the Spurs going to do with that number 2 pick? We're talking about it on The Blitz Monday starting at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hi, this is Joe Reinagel, and you're listening to the home of the Dallas Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Morning Huddle, 94.1.
And that's it. The first title of the OKC era is complete. One of the youngest rosters in recent memory has just completed one of the finest seasons in NBA history. The Oklahoma City Thunder have their first championship, and they're the 2025 NBA champions.
Dang, he almost hit the post.
Almost.
Oh,
that was
man.
good. That was good, yeah.
Damn. He's not as good as I am. Chris says, I don't know about y'all. I thought this was kind of a trash-ass finals. OKC playing with their food all series long.
That was it, man. I feel like the better team won, but it wasn't a great series. We had some great moments. We did, but there's certainly been better basketball series that ended sooner.
Yeah,
that were done in 5 that I felt like were a lot more harder fought, or at least better played.
Normally, if it's a 7-game series, it means that it was
a slugfest.
Ultra competitive. I don't know. I just never doubted who the best team was.
And I think one of the things we're going to have to get used to is when you play Oklahoma City, you're going to have an off night. It's not going to look pretty because they don't shoot very well, and they're certainly not going to let you do it either. So it's just we're going to have to get accustomed to when OKC comes to town, it's off night. You're going to have to slug it out and beat them at 108 points. 91
points in a Game 7 for the Pacers.
And it felt like that's all they could have squeezed out of that orange. You know, there just wasn't a lot of offense to be found.
Chris says he doesn't see OKC getting back next year. Well, like I said, if you don't see OKC getting back next year, if not OKC, then who? And that's the thing for me that I'm having a hard time coming up with. Like, who can be better than them next year?
You're crazy if you don't think it's them. They now have the formula. There's teams that, can bring some things that might match up better here and there. But no, they're the best team in basketball, and you're going to have to figure out a way to beat them. And the scary thing is, they haven't reached their peak. Everybody knows this team's only going to get better. So you're not only going to have to get better yourself, you're going to have to get much better and adjust your attitude about OKC and find ways to beat them specifically.
Here's Mark Daigneault talking about getting the job done.
I'm just so happy for the guys. I mean, this is a great team. All the boxes that this team checked this season, it's a historic team. But there's no guarantee that you end it the way that we did. And so I just wanted it so bad for them. And I was just so thrilled that we were able to get that done and they get to experience this because they deserve it. The way they approach it, the professionalism, competitiveness, team first nature. Like I said, I wanted it so bad for them.
That's the other thing for me. I find this team very likable, and generally I don't like anything from Oklahoma or about Oklahoma. Like I think that Oklahoma's the worst of our states, but all of these players, like I just enjoy watching them play. It's not like you said, it's not the prettiest basketball for sure. Mm-hmm. It's almost the antithesis of what the Warriors were when they started their dynasty.
Yes, it's not almost. It is absolutely. It is the photo negative of what Golden State was. We have completely gone inverse. Where Golden State came with a 6'5" center, they're rolling in with 7'5". Where they're rolling in with 3 3-point shooters out there, all Oklahoma City has is dudes putting the ball on the court and getting to the rim.
Mid-range jumpers.
So they are and it's interesting how we've seen that flip. Both of them highly talented, both of them with a plan and a process, but Golden State was much closer to the Spurs' beautiful game than Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is not a beautiful game by design. This is play defense, spread them wide, and give it to your stud.
It's almost like an 80s throwback kind of team.
Very much. Possessions are valued. You're going to play defense for 20 seconds no matter what position you're on out on the court, and we're going to make them work for it because that's travels. No matter what, defense will always show up.
Here's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander after the game.
Feels great. It just goes to show, like, when you prioritize the right things, when you have good intentions, good people around you, anything's possible. And throughout this whole process, Sam has done a really good job of just, like, being honest and upfront, not only myself but the rest of the group. 3 years ago, like, he came into the room and said, I think this is just when Chet got hurt in the summertime. And he was like, all the noise is that we're going to tank again because Chet lost. Because Chet got hurt. And he said, like, our destiny is what we make it, and no one else can control that. And that message, like, struck with me ever since that. Like, we can do whatever we want to do out there, just like how we've all got to the NBA, no matter what anybody says, no matter who's hurt or who's not. And I think that talk is stuck in my head, and I think a few of the other guys as well, and it's a big part of why we're here.
I do like that mindset, too, because no one would have blamed them if Chet, if they would have, like, tried to get another high draft pick. But
well, what I found about what he was saying so interesting was there's not a lot of franchises when the star is being interviewed brings up the general manager.
No.
Didn't even bring up his coach. He talked about the general. It feels very Pop and RC, Spoelstra and Riles, and now you've got Daigneault and Presti. That you've got these, and to some extent, it was Kerr and what's his name sitting on the bench now on TV.
Bob
Myers. And you would hear players talking about Myers. That also is reflective of highly successful organizations where the general manager isn't the enemy. A lot of teams, the GM's the enemy.
Oh, yeah.
You see him walking around, it ain't good. So when you hear players speak lovingly about their general manager, and it's not to the default of their coach, it's just because that's how this team is assembled, where everybody plays a role. You don't see that very often.
Here's Chet talking about coming back from what he dealt with early in the season.
If you told me that this would be the end point when I got hurt, it'd be easy not to quit. But this isn't guaranteed. That's why only one team gets to do it every year. So I'm so happy I didn't quit. There were a lot of nights, where I was out there on willpower and anti-inflammatories, and so I'm just so happy I didn't quit, and we made it. We did it. I have a long summer of getting my body right again, and man, a lot of emotion.
There was another side to this thing, and that was the Oklahoma City side. And the press conference afterwards was not as.
Oh, you're talking about the Pacer side.
Yeah, excuse me, the Pacer side.
Sadness.
Rick Carlisle, who was livid throughout most of the game last night, even when they weren't losing, he was still pissed off. And when in the third quarter, I thought his head was going to pop.
Yeah.
And
he had a couple of. He was right.
Yeah, but also like his team was missing shot. Like I think he was mad at the officials, and he was mad at his team as well. But here's Rick Carlisle after the game, first talking about Tyrese.
What happened with Tyrese is just all of our hearts dropped, but he will be back. I don't have any medical information about what may or may not have happened, but he'll be back in time, and I believe he'll make a full recovery. So he authored one of the great individual playoff runs in the history of the NBA, with dramatic play after dramatic play. It was just something that no one's ever seen. And did it as one of 17. That's the beautiful thing about him. As great a player as he is, it's always a team thing, and so our hearts go out to him. But so proud of everyone.
And then here's Rick talking about the Thunder.
First, want to congratulate Mark Daigneault, one of the great young coaches in all of professional sports, and his team. The way this season started and everything, they may have had those buses painted up back in December. So they'll have a great parade. They have great fans. This was a great series. I'm so proud of our players. I'm so proud of our organization. Our fans showed up big time tonight. It was really moving.
He was so peeved by the Thunder having their buses wrapped as NBA champions before Game 7 started. He was like, what the... And you know what? Kind of a...
It's in the script. You didn't get the script
you know
back
what?
in April?
Yeah, you're right, Vic. You're right. What a big balls move by the Thunder, but also like...
Dude, that's bad karma, man. If I was a fan and I walked out and saw them already wrapped, like, oh no, we're gonna become a punchline. Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah. Damn. And Rick Carlisle went straight to the locker room and told his team, you know what they got out there?
Man, I would have.
Yeah. You know what they wrote? You know what they rode up to the building in today? The NBA champion buses. What the? No, that's a big balls plate. And then here's Siakam talking about Halliburton.
He was in the locker room, like talking to everyone, and just how selfless he is. Like he's going through some tough times, and he looked out for us, and he wanted to be there for us, and it just shows his character and who he is as a player. And it's one of the big reasons I'm here, and he made it kind of super fun for me to be here.
Yeah, listen, man. And they obviously they missed Halliburton. He was I don't think the game would have gone any differently. I don't think the result would have been any different. But you could tell, and in fact, I think Indiana played with like a lot of emotion in the first half. I think after they sat in the locker room for 15 minutes,
the realization sets in.
Yeah, it kind of set in on them, and then you just started to see the snowball roll downhill, and they were just outmanned, basically.
And, while McConnell stepped in and played a hell of a game, it was not the kind of game that Halliburton plays. So, McConnell was scoring it, felt like almost at will.
He really was. In the third quarter, he was their offense.
And it kept him in the game, but he was the only one that scored for like 8 minutes.
Yep.
And you can't, the Indiana Pacers, that is not how this team is built. The ball needs to touch 3 sets of hands in every possession for Indiana to be an effective offense, and there was nobody capable of that, so McConnell had to just get to the rim and make do.
Well, most of the second half, it did touch 3 sets of hands every Indiana possession. Unfortunately, 2 of those sets of hands were Thunder hands.
So, yes, so it was, while McConnell played great, it wasn't the kind of play that was going to get them, that was sustainable to win. They were getting buckets, but it was last resort fadeaways and things that were too hard to get, and you never really felt comfortable with with the Pacers just going and getting a basket. It was all desperation every possession. It felt like, if we don't do it now, we'll never get it done.
Chris says Siakam needed to do more last night.
Oh, he did all he could.
That's what the broadcast kept saying too. But you know what? They also kept talking about how he's going to be a tough matchup for Chet, and I thought Chet defended him so well when he was on the floor. Like he made Siakam's life hell last night.
I'm not mad at Siakam. Shoot. He's their most offensive player. There was already a bullseye on him, and then he was that double team that would come to Halliburton just because you don't want him taking that 3 was no longer going up. It was headed toward Pascal. So, no, his night got so much more difficult the moment that Halliburton got hurt.
Yeah, they did a good job defending him. I don't know that there was much more he could have done. I thought he played a good game. I thought that some of the guys – I've said it all series long. I thought Miles Turner stunk this entire playoffs, at least on offense. And it's okay to stink on offense if you aren't trying to be part of the offense. Isaiah Hartenstein kind of stinks on offense, but you know what? He accepts that. And
he never shoots unless he's in the paint.
Right? Yeah. Right. Miles Turner believes that he is somehow Pistol Pete Maravich. And
neckball Turner, as we call him.
And then, but a lot of the guys just – Aaron Nesmith struggled mightily on offense yesterday. Obi Toppin was a 0 on offense yesterday.
Obi and turnovers. Dumb, unforced turnovers from Obi. He's going to wake up many nights over the offseason wondering what could have been. They blew 10 points just because he can't dribble.
Yep. Obviously they got nice games out of TJ McConnell and Ben Mathurin, but outside of those two guys, they had, I want to say they only had 2 bench points besides those two. Yeah. 42 bench points, 40 of them between Mathurin and McConnell.
Well, Mathurin is the ace in the hole for the Pacers. If the Pacers expect to compete again next year, Mathurin's going to have to be a pretty consistent 20-point-a-night guy. I think that's the part of this team that still has room to grow.
Obi Toppin, Ben Shepherd, 37 combined minutes, 0 points.
Yep.
0.0.
Have no grade point average.
All right, we are halfway there. We got some giveaways coming up. I got 2 giveaways coming up in the next hour. How about that? Stick around, friends. Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
KTFM Floresville, your home for the Super Bowl. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Hunger striking, snack time calling, it's crunch time. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds brings you the boldest protein-packed crunch you can't resist with mouth-watering flavors like hot honey, sweet barbecue, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Why settle for chips when you can level up your snacking game? Plus, they're low-carb, high-protein, and made for adventurous appetites. Score big flavor today. Grab Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at H-E-B.
Do you disregard people's personal space? Sitting next to people in public, even if there are tons of open seats? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. There's still time. Come to Mattress Firm's July 4th sale and get a queen mattress and adjustable base for only $399.99. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Imagine owning coastal land with ocean views and world-class fishing just off Matagorda Bay. Well, dream no more. This Saturday, mark your calendars for a pre-4th of July one-day coastal land sale at Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point. We're unveiling incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1+ acre waterfront properties starting at $99.9. Yes, $99.9. With a barn dominium from just $169.9. Wow! This gated community boasts a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch with paved roads and underground utilities. It's all happening this Saturday. 1+ acre Texas coastal waterfront, $99.9. With barn dominium, just $169.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing is available. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Freedom starts with land, and land like this won't last long.
The right stuff. Mom, it's like the 80s in here. It's so hot.
It's totally in the 80s.
Call Right Home Services.
Don't get stuck with a bogus AC. 210-444.
Hey, Tinsley, why don't we use EasyCater to order food for staff lunches?
Because my 46-page acronym system is so easy. I just have to salad, stay alert to late-arriving deliveries, pie, put in expenses, and Google Pie. Go out and get everyone's preferences and allergy information.
That's supposed to be simple?
No, simple is Steve and Irma and Margie prefer lasagna and empanadas.
OMG.
No need to make work life more complicated. Just use EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really? Lily, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Payout via virtual prepaid card allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Listen up, San Antonio. At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can get college credit for the stripes you've earned. Turn your military rank into college credit to save time and money on an online degree. Eligible enlisted service members and previously enlisted veterans may receive up to 12 credits for select undergraduate courses based on their rank, and up to 90 credits in total for prior learning, military experience, and training. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu/SATX.
You gotta dip your chicken strips. Hey, this is Kiani.
And this is Tabitha.
And a little thing we love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips
is all the different sauces we can dip them in. I like to line up all my favorite sauces so that in every bite, I have a different flavor. Then with the tenderness of the chicken, the juiciness of it, it's all there.
And for me, I like to mix my sauces so I get a little tang and I get a little sweetness all in one bite.
That's what makes it for me. Like, that's what does it for me.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We just cleared one of our trouble spots. That stall at 90 eastbound General Hudnell has cleared. 1604 Frontage Road, westbound Bandera Road accident, left lane, left shoulder blocked as well. 35 southbound Pine Street, that's a stall that's off to the shoulder. And another stall at 410 westbound 37 southeast side of town, disabled vehicle, right shoulder blocked. Now, if you guys see something we're not talking about, call us on the traffic tip line. We'll check it out. 210-785-2601. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
It wasn't pretty, but it's over. The Oklahoma City Thunder won the second franchise championship, first in Oklahoma City history, 103-91 over the Indianapolis Pacers. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander named MVP. In other NBA news, the Houston Rockets won the Kevin Durant sweepstakes, acquiring the 15-time NBA All-Star for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and the number 10 pick in this year's draft. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Drew Show. I don't know. I don't know how old Drew is. I imagine he's 100 years old.
What?
Because he doesn't believe in things like analytics. I didn't hear, but if AJ's crowing that he was right about OKC with his analytics, the dude is a bigger DJ than I even thought. They needed an Achilles to burst to win the series, LOL. Could be said needed two Achilles to burst, Halliburton and Tatum. Analytics said OKC was one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the history of the NBA. They just needed 7 games and 2 burst Achilles tendons to prove it, LOL.
Wow.
Man,
And he says,
your milk is sour this morning, bro.
At least when the voodoo docs who predict the weather use phrases like probabilities and chance of, like Drew, if you don't believe that past performance like somehow can predict the future, like that, what do you believe? Are you like a flat earther? Like, I don't understand. What do you believe in? Like, I'm curious if you're like, oh, well, just because things have happened this way in the past doesn't mean that that's what's real. I don't know what else you go off of.
Well, you know what? What he's saying is what the Pacers can hold on to in the offseason. I mean,
so the Pacers, if they're flat earthers, they believe that they were better.
I mean, they have every right to say, but for we would have, and I can't take it away from them. I can tell you that while you went 7, this series, never felt as close as the score. It just felt like one team was playing above their heads, and one never could get it together. And the team that couldn't get it together won the series. It was hard fought. It was a slugfest, but the best team won. And I don't think there's a whole lot of people outside the state of Indiana and you that look at this and go, no, the better team was the Pacers. I just don't see it.
And, Halliburton blowing out his Achilles or not, I mean, had they gotten horrific point guard play after that, it would have been one thing, but their best offensive player was the guy that took minutes from Halliburton being hurt.
The same guy that we can't win if he's not playing also had a game in this series where he had no points and played the whole game. So to expect that he was going to be able to do it, it's crazy. But, yes, you do have the right to cling to that because there is the great what-if. You can take that all offseason, the what-ifs. But the fact is the better team won.
Yeah. Well, Halliburton scored over double the amount he scored in Game 5.
So, if he was a consistent 25 a night and you suddenly lost 25, I think even I would buy into that. But that's not the case.
Yeah. And only one turnover in his 7 minutes. So he was on pace to only have, probably 4 or 5 this game.
And my belief in that, I'm absolutely anti-turnover in any sense, but there are times the risk outweighs it. You can take the risk, and if it's a turnover, that's fine, but I'd rather you do something extraordinary, try to do something extraordinary instead of holding the ball and I'm not turning it over. Sometimes the bucket every other time is just as important as not turning it over.
The Thunder were the better team, period.
Now, the funny thing about this is they're not as much better as I thought they were going to be. And I think that's where a lot of us take away, there's the potential for a dynasty, but why weren't they better? Because man for man, it just felt like they should have been able to do more and inflict their will on a more regular basis. And they just couldn't do it for whatever reason it was.
I think it's the fact they were the youngest team that's ever won an NBA title.
I think there's a lot to it. I think that they did lack a little bit of they needed an old head out there every now and again.
When they're calling Alex Caruso an old man.
Yes, and he is the emotional support for the downtrodden. When they're in trouble, they they need somebody else, but they were able with a community to overcome that. And that's a testament to them, but it's also a testament to the Pacers who played, in my mind, extraordinary basketball because they were under-talented. They weren't as talented as OKC, and Carlisle coached his ass off for 7 games. This wouldn't have been close, I think, if there had been a lot of other coaches, especially in this last game.
Darian says, Pacers aren't turned over 20 times with Hallie. Be real. Oh, you must not have seen...
Look back at the... What? What are you talking
about? They've actually done that.
Well, now they also proved that they can turn the ball over 20 times and win. They had 18 turnovers in the first half of the first game and still won. So, there's a testament to what the Pacers overcame to get this far. Yeah. To get it to 7, in hindsight, when we look back on this and you go, how did the Pacers take this team 7 games? There's not a lot of teams that could ever say that. And I get the sense maybe next year we'll get an idea of how good this team really was.
And you know what? Again, I got to give credit where it's due. I didn't think this Pacers team was very good. They exceeded certainly my expectations. Even making it a 7-game series. But at the end of the day, they are what their roster is, and that is they're an okay team. They're good.
They're greater than the sum of their parts, and that's the highest compliment you can give a team.
It's certainly the highest compliment you can give this team. But you know what? So are the Thunder.
Well, but the Thunder, they didn't have a dude like Obi Toppin go 0-for-5 turnover. There's things that are problems with a fluctuating roster like Indiana. You get ups and downs like that. With the Pacers, apart from Jay Will, everybody played pretty well. The series went pretty well, apart from Jay Will, and even Jay Will had a 40-point night. Yeah. So the Thunder played more like the Thunder, and the Pacers had Pacers nights, but other nights they weren't themselves. You had an 0-for night for Obi Toppin in Game 7. You had an 0-for night for your best player in Game 5. That's not a prescription to win. You can't tell me they're a better team when your better players go 0-for. That's not what a better team does.
Well, what did you say when you play OKC? Expect an off night.
It's an off night, and so it's always going to be ugly against them.
Yeah. But yeah, to think that somehow the turnover thing was all Halliburton leaving the game. No, Game 5 they had 22 turnovers and he played the full game. They turned this team over all series, and the one game that they didn't was Game 6. It was a huge win for Indiana. They needed to have that, but for the most part, that ended up being the bugaboo of this series. Is the games that they lost. They just could not protect the basketball. And Oklahoma City's really good at making that a difficult task.
And it's the kind of defense they play is the boring kind of defense. It's not the LeBron walking you from behind and taking it off the backboard and the sweeping block into the fifth row and that kind of stuff. It's a little tip away, took your lunch money, that just kind of add up. And you look down and you go, my God, we got 9 turnovers in the last 8 minutes. Doesn't feel like it, but you do because they just poke it away constantly. You're always on guard. It's one of those things that unless you play against it, and I'm sure as we get further and further away, the Pacers will admit, my gosh, it's like they're playing 6 guys out there.
Yep.
I mean, there was always hands right where the ball should be.
And you know what? I think after every title, there's going to be people who go, oh, well, if this would have happened, this would have happened. There's a lot of ifs.
The cold light, what is it, Robert O'Keen, the cold gray light of day. When you really look at it, I think Pacer fan will admit, hey, man, we had a hell of a year, but we weren't better than them.
You would think even Thunder hater would.
And here, now, this is for me, I'm about to become a rabid Thunder hater. I could just feel it coming. And
Why?
Fan, because they are who we shoot for. They are our Larry to Magic. They are the Jordan rules to Michael Jordan. They are the pinnacle. What they are now is what San Antonio wants to be. And we have to measure ourselves by them for the next couple of years because they are put together or we are put together in their fashion.
But does that make you hate them or does that make you say, man, I'd love to see this team
I have to wake up like Magic or like Bird going, what are they doing today? Because I got to do that and then some every day. That breeds hatred. Because if I wake up every morning going, what did they do today to get better? Because I got to match that and do something else. You grow to hate those guys because I measure myself by you.
The problem is right now, the Thunder literally won twice as many games this season as the Spurs did. Like, there's a massive gap.
Yes.
To me, as someone who really, I want to see the Spurs succeed. I want to see the Spurs have the kind of success I just saw Oklahoma City had. It feels like if I'm a Spurs fan, I'm cool watching Oklahoma City do what they did because I'm saying in a couple years that could be us.
Yeah, but I'm going to have to get there through them. And
no doubt.
And the matchups, I mean, we got the just kind of natural, not only regional, but the Presti connection, the Wemby Chet thing going on. I can tell you this will be the last time for a long time that I look at Oklahoma City and go, "Oh, that's nice." There's going to be some literal hatred coming down the pike because look out, they're that good and will be for a minute. We're going to have to be the man. We're going to have to beat that man is what I feel like. So get ready.
Claymore asked, will they be able to pay SGA, Jalen, and Chet max contracts? Yeah, they can.
Look at their team. Everybody else is low paid. Everybody else is going to be in the $10 to $20 million range. They're already ahead of the game, man. They're already in good spots.
Coog said nobody had the Pacers coming out of the East. They had a great season. Rob did. Rob picked the Pacers over the Thunder. And at the beginning of the season, Rob said Pacers beat the Thunder in the NBA Finals. He was a half of basketball from being right.
If it wasn't for stupid Halliburton's
If it weren't for that second half.
Those meddling kids and the turnovers and the lack of talent and neckball Turner.
The current landscape prevents dynasties. I don't know. Well, I don't know that. I mean, I know it's certainly harder than it used to be.
8 years. It's hard.
But
and there's no one reason. You know, you look past all these teams. You felt like I don't know why they didn't repeat.
Who is the last one?
Well, Golden State, I think, is the last one, right?
You know why they were able to build it? Because they started when all those kids were young and on their first contract.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what this team's doing. Yeah. And you can't maintain a dynasty picking away other people's players and making them yours and paying them top of the food chain. You can, if you draft the right guys and they are the right guys, you can pay your own guys a lot easier than you can pay some mega team that you try to build.
Through and through. Now, I will say, when Denver won it, I felt like there was a potential for a couple of years. Not long-term like Oklahoma City. They're not that young. But I thought Denver had 2 or 3 in them.
The problem was Jamal Murray was it
got hurt, and Porter was both below the neck and above the neck issues. So there's a lot of little things that didn't come to fruition. But that team seemed deep. They had a young, great player. They had the hottest young coach in the league. It felt like it was imminent for a minute, and it just wasn't. So as much as I love Oklahoma City, I know just as we just saw in the Brigade Bar, this league is set up for you to fail as the champ.
It's just hard for me for a team that won the West by 16 games this year And I'm having a harder time finding someone to pick out of the East than I did a year ago. And I don't think anybody's closing the gap that far in the West this year. It just feels...
Well, I think the Rockets are the ones that you go, well, they're aiming for it. Minnesota's looking at themselves going, but for. So, there's some teams that have opportunities, but no team seems to be in the position to carry this through since 2016.
It has been a long time.
Yeah, 9 years.
So, we'll again, that's the challenge, though. That is it's a lot easier said than done, and a lot of dynasties on paper died on page one. And it can absolutely go that way. But this team does, just the way that they are built, which, by the way, the Spurs are kind of, right now at least, built in that same mold. It seems like it can be done. And to me, as someone who wants to see the Spurs do well, that is promising. That you can build it the right way and build it the old school way, build it with your guys, your draft picks, and make something happen out of that. Trade away a couple pieces and hit on those draft picks. And that's really the key. You know what? A lot of kudos goes to Mark Daigneault, but, you mentioned Sam Presti. Where's the miss? The miss was Josh Giddey, and what did he do?
And Giddey wasn't a miss.
No, he wasn't really.
He just didn't play defense.
He was a guy who didn't fit what they wanted, and they flipped him for someone who fit what they wanted, who was cheaper. That's what's crazy.
The deal that sealed it was the Caruso-Giddey deal. And I think in hindsight, they'll look back on what was the true beginning. It wasn't when they got Shai. It wasn't when they drafted remarkably well with J-Dub. It was the move for Alec Caruso that really was the glue that put this thing together. And here's another benefit they've had. Chet missed an entire season and got to be bigger and stronger and better when he came in his second year. Their first-round draft pick last year just missed an entire season and has been working out on the sideline and will show up a year older and more prepared to be an NBA guard. They might not have to look elsewhere for anything they need. He might already be in the building.
And honestly, almost to a man, if you say, will they be better or worse as a player, just natural progression, they almost all have up arrows.
All of it. Not one has apex. Not one. Now, Hartenstein, we know who he is.
Yeah.
But I don't see a decline coming.
No. I'm trying to, and Caruso is one of the older ones.
But he's there because of that. But the thing about it is, we talked about it in pre. He was here to do a lot of stuff. He was not here to elevate above the rim and throw down a dunk. That's not why he was here.
No.
But he showed that kind of improvement. So even he has added to his game.
Corwin says, watch out for Orlando. Banchero's coming.
Yeah.
They're good.
I think we're all excited to see what they're capable of because there's a lot of unwritten stuff about them. They got a lot of stuff to fix.
Does Banchero have enough room to grow to become a top 5 player in the league?
And he has all the bona fides. There's no reason why he shouldn't.
Because right now, to me, if you say who's a better player between him and Jalen Williams, I think there's an argument.
I agree.
But the problem is if Banchero is Jalen Williams and Wagner's as good as Chet, you're still a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, an MVP of the league away from being there.
But there's also the Orlando-ness of this. There's something about
their
franchise, they're losers, and what losers do is lose.
Yeah,
maybe they'll overcome it, but I just don't think they will.
They're the New York Jets.
Pretty much.
That's what Orlando is.
Seriously, no matter what they do, no matter how hard they try, somehow they're going to step in some crap.
Triple Z says, let me guess, y'all are the type to say Kawhi and the Spurs wasn't cooking Golden State until Zaza's cheap shot.
No, that was a cheap shot, and the Spurs would have won that series.
Yeah.
The Spurs were going to win the title that year. They were playing that well at that moment.
I try not to get into the what ifs on injuries. Rockets fan is still to this day believes if Chris Paul didn't get hurt, they would have beaten Golden State. Also, completely forgetting that the reason why Chris Paul was suddenly cooking in that series is because 2 games earlier, the Warriors' best defender got hurt, and they're like, whoa, well, that's not the same.
You're holding on to a dream, and this you can say what coulda, shoulda, but it was still early in the playoffs, but the Spurs were playing really well, and I felt like it was going to be another one, and it was just utterly derailed.
Josh says, I don't know why Spurs fans think they can be OKC with this organization continually making horrible moves. Spurs are going to have to buy a ticket to be in the championship game. I don't know.
What horrible move?
I don't know what horrible moves are happening. I feel like the Spurs are building this thing. I don't know.
I will say
glass
this,
half full here, which I'm usually not.
When I'm out and about and talking in crowds, I am surprised by the number of people that are eager for a big move, especially being in San Antonio. The number of people that were definitely in on Durant and really want Giannis and really are looking for Cam Johnson that feel like we've got to press fast forward. There's a lot of people in this city who are ready to win now, and I get it.
It's been a while. That's why.
I get it, but sometimes the fastest move ain't the best move.
Well, I'll say this. I'm glad that the Spurs didn't get Kevin Durant. I would have done a lot if I was the Spurs to get Giannis, because it goes back to what I said earlier.
Top 5.
If you have a top 5 guy, you can win an NBA title. Giannis is a top 5 guy in the league. Kevin Durant is not, at this point, a top 5 player in the league. So for me, a chance to add Giannis to this group, and now you can tell Wemby, hey, right now, because what is Chet on the Thunder? Chet's the 3rd best player on the Thunder right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if Wemby and De'Aaron Fox were here, and Giannis, Wemby could be the 3rd best player on the Spurs next year. And if that's the case, oh my God, yeah, you're contending.
I get the pace. I'm just surprised at the numbers, considering the way that the Spurs developed the first time. You know, that it was a built not bought process, and you look at what Oklahoma City did, and we feel like this is an overnight thing. It's not. Shai's been there 7 years.
Yep.
So this was a slow and steady build.
All right, let's hit a break. You know what? Before we hit a break, I'm going to give away some San Antonio Gunslingers tickets. They're taking on the Sugar Skulls?
Yeah.
Where are they from?
I guess they couldn't say Calaveras. We went Sugar Skull.
From where?
Tucson.
The Tucson Sugar Skulls?
Yeah.
I'd like to see their uniform.
Isn't that San Antonio culture?
Well, Tucson, they got a large Hispanic culture as well.
What?
Latinx.
Oh, man.
Yeah, much Latinos aquí.
We're letting them take over our turf.
Sugar Skulls.
Well, they're going to be playing July 5th at the Freeman Coliseum. You want to go watch them? We've got 2 tickets for you. How about caller number 3? You'll go see the Gunslingers and the Sugar Skulls. Celebrate the day after America Day, July 5th at the Freeman Coliseum. All right, let's hit a break. We'll be right back. Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
John, what do you think about these tariffs? What do you think is going to happen? Well, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The prices on used cars have suddenly come up because the cost has gone up. And at GimmeTheVin.com, we're paying more. Go to GimmeTheVin.com, put in your license plate, and see for yourself. We're paying more today than we were yesterday. Remember, the tariffs have raised the car prices, and we are paying extra. GimmeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer. Sell us your car.
Sell us your car. GimmeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at TSAOG.com.
Being arrested isn't just a setback. It's a nightmare that can destroy your life and reputation. At Barton & Associates, we're here to make sure your one bad night doesn't turn into a lifetime of regret. Contact Barton & Associates today at TexasArrest.com. That's TexasArrest.com.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District knows that life moves fast, and the last thing you want is to miss out due to an illness. Vaccines are safe and help your immune system fight off serious disease that can stop or change your plans. They protect you, the people you love, and can prevent you from getting sick. Let's get vaccinated, because when it comes to your health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. For more information, visit sa.gov/health.
Mom, it's like the 80s in here. It's so hot.
It's totally in the 80s. Our AC is bogus.
Call Right Home Services.
At Right Home Services, we love the 80s, just not on your thermostat. Don't get stuck with a bogus AC. The right AC services, the right team, and the right price. 210-444.
The right stuff.
Now we can chill, Mom.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up Monday on The Blitz, we have an NBA champion. All the reaction from the Sunday night Game 7. The latest on the Kevin Durant trade watch. Plus, it's officially draft week. What are the Spurs going to do with that number 2 pick? We're talking about it on The Blitz Monday starting at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Oh, Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. All right, how about the NBA's power rankings for next season? Not a shock that the Thunder are expected to be at the top of the pile.
So is this as the season begins or is the expected close to the season? Because a lot of these teams are going to be very different by the end of the year.
Of course,
like the Mavs are going to start out slow, but Kyrie will eventually get back, and the Pacers might very well get Halliburton back next year. I mean, we've seen guys come back in less than a year, so some of these teams might have a lower power ranking early, but by the end of the season, be back into what we expected.
So it says team rankings are based on where our panel, and lists all the guys on their panel, think the teams are after this season going into next. So like the early part, and no shock, the Thunder number 1. They have 2 first-round draft picks this year. They have 4 in the chamber for next year, which is absurd. But again, we don't think they're going to use them. Number 2 to them,
Cleveland?
No. I bet if I gave you 5 guesses, you wouldn't pick this team.
Houston now?
No.
Wouldn't be the Pacers. Lakers?
No.
Not Boston?
No.
Man, I'm at a loss. I can't imagine.
The Minnesota Timberwolves.
Well, I probably shouldn't have overlooked them, but I certainly wouldn't put them second.
Yeah. I mean, they made it to the conference finals. They didn't feel like a conference finals team to me.
They weren't, because they didn't even look as good as Denver.
And we don't know what's going to happen with Naz Reid. He's got a player option. I would imagine he declines and gets paid somewhere.
Yeah, maybe here.
Julius Randle's he's got a player option too. He might want to stick it out. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's a free agent. They got a lot of issues.
They're a good team, but yeah, I think that's a bold. That's more on Anthony Edwards than anything else.
Number 3, Denver, which I don't disagree with. I do think Denver is
second best team we saw in the playoffs.
As long as they have Jokic, they've got a shot.
They were the second best team in the playoffs.
I think so too. 4 is Cleveland.
Yeah.
I think that Garland undergoes surgery. He wasn't the same guy in the postseason.
That mattered.
Maybe with a healthy him, maybe they were the ones.
I think that they need to be just like the Pacers and just sew everything up and run it back.
Number 5 is the Houston Rockets.
Yep.
And that's obviously in a post-KD world. Says the Rockets showed they're just an offensive engine away from making a deep run in the postseason. They'd hoped one of its young, talented players would step into that role. Instead, it's KD.
Now, here's the thing that's going to be, if you're going to tell me what would be the problem, why won't they be good? And it will be, how are they going to play defense? And Kevin Durant is not a bad defender. He's just not an avid defender. He can play defense, but Ime's the kind of guy, you play for me. When you're on the court, you're thinking defense first. So it's going to be interesting to see how he manages to allow Kevin Durant to be Kevin Durant, but still expect a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball. Because when you lost Dillon Brooks, you did lose your heart and soul. Not your best defender, but your most important defender.
Number 6, Indiana.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with that. No, Halliburton's out. I mean, this was the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. Like I know, it's real easy short-term memory says, oh, well, they were in the finals. They were the best team out of the East.
Keep in mind, they don't have to play a whole lot of good teams. It's not that hard to be number 5.
All right.
I'm not saying that they're even close to Oklahoma City because, they're going to be worse off for it. But you get to play Carolina and all these teams that are really sucking it up a lot in the East. It's easier to pad your record a little bit.
Number 7 is the New York Knicks.
See, I'm glad they're ahead of the Knicks.
I
think the Knicks have more questions to answer than Indiana does.
You mean like, who is our coach? Is that a valid question?
That is one of the many maybe that goes into it.
I just
thought of a testament to the Knicks to get picked that high. They don't even have a coach.
I swear I just thought of that when you said that. I was like, have they picked a coach? They still haven't picked a coach.
They're so good, they don't even need one.
Coach Schmoach.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Call your own.
They'll get one maybe like mid-next season. They'll hire one.
Sub in whenever you want. Just raise your fist. We'll fix it.
Golden State 8.
Oh, that's a little high, brother. That's a little high.
Yeah.
I think the gas is out of that tank.
I put them at 12.
Yeah.
But, do you? Well, that's another one. Like, who knows if Steph Curry were healthy, what would have happened?
There's still a couple of Hall of Famers running around out there, but that seems awfully high for a team that seems out of gas.
I'm curious if they bring Kuminga back. Because
they ain't that high.
No, because we saw he started to come on, and it's like, by the way, it took you long enough to figure out how to play in the NBA. Like,
seriously,
it's only been 5 years that we've been waiting for this. Now that he's got an option, all of a sudden he's good. Lakers 9.
Yeah.
Which
I probably might have them a little higher. If Luka looks like they're telling me he looks like he's dropped 12 pounds, look out.
Yeah, I'm curious what they do. Although they don't have a lot of money to add things.
No.
They do have Hachimura, Vincent, and Kleber all on expiring contracts, so they can maybe make a trade. But, 10, the Clippers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as long as you have Kawhi and those old dudes, you're going to win some games.
James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Zubac.
There's going to win some games. There's still talent there.
Norman Powell's a player.
Yeah,
they got some guys.
But
Detroit 11.
Boy, they need to be higher than that.
I kind of think so too.
They might be.
They feel like there's a real up arrow on them.
They're probably properly slotted right now, but that team needs to be better next year.
12 is Boston.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They're in a holding pattern. God knows what's going on.
They might have to totally reset.
Yeah, I don't know
because they're going to be $23 million over the second apron with a team that nobody takes seriously as a title contender.
Right.
That's bad.
And Jalen could be somebody else on somebody else's team by Thursday. So.
13 Orlando feels a little low. They feel like they're kind of going the right direction. Boncaro, Wagner, Suggs, all playing together could be a big deal. They're making moves to bring in Desmond Bane. The one thing they really needed was a shooter.
It's going to be fun.
Kind of like them. 14 Dallas.
Man, no Spurs yet. We better be getting close.
15 Memphis.
Because we're getting to the end of the playoff run. We're getting to 16. That's the playoff teams.
16 Milwaukee.
Milwaukee all the way down. Well, I guess.
17 San Antonio.
Okay. That's not playoffs, by the way.
Well,
I mean, if you're in the grand play in, but I'm talking playoff. But that's probably that's appropriate, I think.
Popovich no longer the coach. Mitch Johnson, that's a big question. Vic entering his third season. Steph Castle, Rookie of the Year. De'Aaron Fox, they get to work with him now. He'll work him in full-time. And they've got the number 2 pick in the draft. Spurs have not been to the postseason since 2018-19, and expectation is they will get there this year.
They better. Heads will roll. I'm telling you, if we're not a playoff team, head coach is gone. Unless there's a significant injury, and even then.
I think he should be. Like, I think, again, I didn't even think they should have hired him based on what he did this year.
And I think there's some of that plays a role in effect.
I'm sure a lot of it was they wanted someone who Pop felt like he could pull strings on
and
a little.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm not either.
But at some point, you do have to turn the page.
Yeah. And it was it's nice to have a coach who's there for a long time, but when he's gone, sometimes it's good to just go with someone completely different.
Well, I recommend always doing that. You got to be you never want to be the guy to replace a legend. So if you're not going to be like him, be something completely different. Speaking of they've hired a couple of coaches over the last couple of days. Corliss Williams came in. Looks like he's going to be part of the roster. And then a new associate head coach coming from the Mavericks that evidently people are excited about us getting him. He is evidently highly recruited, highly interviewed assistant.
Okay. Look at the Spurs making moves. Mm-hmm. Number 18, Miami.
Yeah. That's not so much about the roster. That's about the coach and the GM. Like, I can't possibly ever think Miami would be less than 18th.
You know what? And after them, I feel like we're getting into teams that I think don't matter. 19, Atlanta.
There will be one of the next couple of teams that you mentioned that'll be a surprise. There always is.
Probably.
One of these next 5 will probably surprise us.
20, Sacramento.
It won't be them.
Now, here's one that's probably got the best chance at surprising because they've got the most good players on their team. 21, Philadelphia.
Yeah, you roll out Embiid, suddenly you get a whole lot better.
Just like everybody, if he stays healthy, if the Sixers are fully healthy for a full season, they might be one of the teams that could push Oklahoma City. Like from a talent standpoint, Embiid, Maxey, and McCain. Like you say, that's your top 3.
You get Paul George healthy again. There's talent there. Yeah, no, that like I said, I think one of the next couple teams will.
And they have the 3rd pick.
Yeah, but Ace Bailey, we know how.
Idiot. 22 is Portland, who continues to try really, really hard, and I respect that.
Yeah, at some point though, that's going to have to pay some dividends. Yeah. At some point, you're going to actually have to win some games.
They don't have good players, but damned if they don't try hard. 23 Chicago.
Yeah.
24, Phoenix. 25, New Orleans. 26, Toronto.
We're getting into the cellar.
27, Brooklyn. And mind you, all the teams I'm mentioning now are the teams that Ace Bailey is apparently might have a deal with since he didn't want to talk to Philly.
Can't wait to play for the Brooklyn Nets, man.
28, Charlotte. 29, Utah. And number 30, the Washington Wizards.
Hey. And at some point, do we start questioning Danny Ainge? At some point, do we go, remember when that guy traded for what might be one of the better trades of this century? When he traded for Jason Tatum, when he managed to do that, and then some of the moves that he has made over the years, at some point, Utah's going to have to get better. They've been sucking it up for way too long, and it seems like every year he's making some kind of move that has not worked.
The good news is he's not in charge anymore. The new president of basketball operations, Austin Ainge, is making all the decisions now.
Is that real? Are you telling me? Is that really his kid?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, never had my point proven more aptly than right there.
Yeah, it's going to be totally different. Totally different. Hey, let's give away. I want to make one more winner before we get to losers coming up in the next segment. It is a Mellow Mushroom Monday. We got a $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom. Listen every Monday to the Morning Huddle and the Blitz. You got your chance to score a $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom up there, 1604 and Stone Oak. Let's go caller number 1. The very first person to get through, you are going to go to the Mellow Mushroom and eat $50 worth of pizza, and your stomach is going to hurt so bad unless you share it with other people.
Like us.
Could be us.
We're
it
free
could be us.
Most lunches.
I mean, often we are, yes. Not today. I want to take a nap today, and I already ate breakfast tacos.
And I think we're going to do some burnt bean later in the week.
We are.
Yeah,
oh, yeah. Burnt bean. We got to see if Vic can go. Last week he was like, I can't go.
Maybe this week.
Maybe. Okay. All right.
I got money now.
Oh, he's rich now. Vic won the lotto this week.
Baby needs some new shoes.
That's right, baby.
Picking up a Hellcat later.
Oh, yeah. I bet you could buy James's car on the cheap.
I know. Can't wait to go play
rehab that title.
Yeah, I got the title.
All right, let's hit a break. We'll do losers on the other side. Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Still working this trouble spot on 1604 westbound, right at Bandera Road. It's in the left lane. Left shoulder closed as well. Again, this is the frontage road. 35 southbound FM 1518 on down to Pat Booker Road. That's starting to fill in and slow down. 35 southbound Olympia Parkway to 1604. Some ongoing road work taking up that right lane. And downtown, we've got a closure on 35 upper level, southbound from Alamo on down to Laredo Street. This is due to road work. and traffic is being forced to take the lower level. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code RADIO for an extra 5% off.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney and have been representing people injured in auto and commercial truck collisions right here in San Antonio, my hometown, since 1994. Getting into a collision can be a life-altering event. Your health and recovery is the only thing that really matters, and anyone that's ever been injured in a traffic collision will tell you that. How do you get the insurance company to pay? Simple. Call me. As your attorney, my job is to get you through this. The decisions you make immediately after a collision are the most important decisions you can make. If you call me as soon as you can after a collision, I will help you make the right decisions for you and your family. Remember, I do not charge for a consultation. Growing up on the southwest side of San Antonio, when Loop 410 was the edge of town, I know how overwhelming it could be to face a giant insurance company all on your own. Just keep it simple. Call me. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 900-0400. Or go to my website at lawyerforus.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Do it. Nice.
Du hast mich.
Nothing like a little German death metal to get your Monday going.
Yeah.
You know, I saw a video of a flaming penis when he was singing this.
Chris says, what do y'all think of bringing in a Jaylen Brown to add?
I like some Jaylen Brown, but I ain't got the money.
I don't think I'm looking for that, though. I think I'm going the slow route at this point. If I wasn't getting Giannis, I'm taking it easy. And I'll be honest, I think the way to go is, and I've heard people now saying don't draft Harper. I don't know who is driving that bus, but stop driving that bus.
You know, I get their argument. I do. I see my son is an advocate, was an advocate for Durant. He's an advocate for Cam Johnson. He's an advocate for anything now, and I get it. But there's something about I want to see what Steph Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and Dylan Harper look like on the court together. It could be magical. It might be magical.
It could be.
Or it could be an abject failure when nobody can shoot, and we got a Dylan Harper that is not ready to be an NBA guy, and now he's getting even less time because there's two other guys that are in front of him. So he doesn't even get a chance to develop. That would be the worst case scenario.
We can figure it out then.
That's what my point is. You know what? If you tell me in 3 years I get to pick two of the best three, I'll take that, and I'll keep the two of the best because I think all three are going to be pretty damn good.
I do too. I also know that if De'Aaron Fox coming out of college, Steph Castle coming out of college, and Dylan Harper coming out of college were all in the same draft class, Dylan Harper would be the first one chosen.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I don't even think it's probably. I think it's almost certainly.
It's hard to argue. All three of them are Rookie of the Year caliber kids, and I'd love to have three of those guys on my team. And if I fail that way, man, it's my fault.
I love Castle. I loved the idea of drafting Castle last year. I'm glad they did it. Dylan Harper's a better prospect than Steph Castle.
And Steph was a prospect.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like we didn't expect greatness.
I cannot let Dylan Harper walk because I've got Steph Castle. Like, I have to find a way either to make them both work or find out which one of them works better for me.
And that goes to the Mitch Johnson and all the things and his new coaches and all that.
Well, and to the brain trust that's whose job it is to figure out which one of these guys fits what they want to do. Like, quite frankly, what the question is now is the question of every player who comes to San Antonio. How does he fit with Wemby?
I know we're trying to do losers here, but it is worthy of asking the question. If Pop was legitimately the head coach, like it was Pop's team, would we still be talking about about how much we want Harper? Because the old Pop didn't play rookies. The old Pop Dylan would have watched a whole lot of basketball. Now, he has changed or did change over the last year of his career, but the old Pop, if you showed up, I don't care if you're a number 2 pick, you messed up, you're watching.
I just don't think you can pass on the guy like that. I just think you can't do it. You can't do it. So I think, yes, we would be clamoring for him in the same way. I think that you got so lucky with the ping pong balls. I mean, you and I talked about it all year. If you don't get flag, Dylan Harper's like about as good of a consolation prize as you can get. Beyond that, if they had the 3rd pick, I'd say, I don't care what you do with it. Trade it. But the 2nd pick, I do think the player is too special to pass on.
The basketball god smiled and gave you a gift. You take it.
Yep. All right, let's do losers.
You lose. You are such a loser. You're a bona fide schmuck.
Time now to find out who blew it this weekend. The losers.
You bunch of losers! Look who's back. It's the loser.
I'm going back to a better class of losers.
With AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hello, losers.
I'll start. And I don't oft go to this world, but I will go to the world of golf, where poor Tommy Fleetwood, who is 0 for 84 in PGA Tour starts, has never won a PGA Tour event.
And I bet he's made $50 million and never won an event.
All he had to do was hit a little bit of a putt, and he would have won one finally. He had a one-shot lead from the middle of the 18th fairway, and from 50 feet away, it took him 3 putts to get it in. And
hey, man, I can identify. I've been there.
I feel it, but I also don't get paid millions of dollars to play golf. And he blows it, and Keegan Bradley, who was 3 shots behind with 4 holes to play, birdies the 18th to win the Travelers Championship over the weekend.
Missed it. Didn't see it.
Tommy Fleetwood, I'm sorry, loser.
Yeah.
A wealthy loser.
84 tries. He's a loser.
But can you imagine you never won, yet you have
That's actually not a bad deal.
$50 million or so. I don't know what his career earnings are. My loser is, it's not just over the weekend, but it's been all of the finals, if not more. It's the ESPN broadcast crew and the way they did the finals. I think part of the finals, when we look back on this, it just wasn't it wasn't called very well. So that trio didn't do a very good job. I think people are kind of tired of Doris Burke, and Richard Jefferson, while doing a good job, just didn't seem to mesh with Mike Breen. So I think the coverage was off. And then last night was the topper, because we watched Halliburton go down with a blown Achilles. You know who's sitting on the panel at ESPN? You know, that the former general manager of the Golden State Warriors who lived through this, who watched Kevin Durant do the same thing in his capacity. And guess what? At halftime, they didn't even ask him about it. They didn't even ask Bob. Oh, by the way, didn't you have a superstar go down in the finals with a blown Achilles in game, what was that, 5 or 4 when he went down?
Yeah.
What was that like? They didn't even use him. They didn't even ask him the question. What a fiasco. That is everybody involved with that. That was an embarrassing ridiculous. It was as bad as it could have been.
I don't disagree. I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt. I actually like Richard Jefferson. I thought he did a good job, although he's very, very vanilla. Like, if you're going to have him, you have to have some strong personalities with him, and I don't think Doris was really strong enough. It's funny because I don't really dislike any of them separately.
All 3 individually are good at what they do, but as a trio, it's just not a good team.
Good. And, I mean, listen, everyone knows that the TNT had better – they were better at this than the ESPN is. And now ESPN is going to try and poach their guys and do it their way, which is the right way to do it.
It kind of sucks when the other guys are better and you know it.
Yeah,
When I was at EA and we did NBA Live and we looked across, we could not compete with Blizzard. We just couldn't.
But the difference is
they're better than us.
It's funny when you know that they're better and you're still the one who gets the contract.
Right.
And it's like, well,
we're the big dog, but
we
we ain't
won.
better. Yeah,
we won. I'm going to go. First of all, we haven't mentioned this at all, but congratulations to LSU.
I think we have our own. We have the same loser here.
Congratulations to LSU. I want to give them credit, but the umpiring crew to eject the head coach and the first base coach from the national championship game in the first inning.
What?
Yeah, dude, it was.
Are you kidding me?
Is embarrassing. I mean, he would have had to. I mean, I don't know.
What did he say?
There's nothing he could have said.
He was arguing balls and strikes.
I don't care if he defamed your mother, your grandmother, made disparaging remarks about your. You don't get to throw him out, and short of him punching you in the face.
Yeah.
At that point,
what happened was
thick skin and walk away, man.
When they started arguing, the umpire tripped and fell down, and he was embarrassed. And at that point, the only thing he could do to save face was start tossing people. I think
it was as bad a situation as you could have even dreamed of in the College World Series. In the first inning, the underdog. You throw out their coach and their first base coch, even though it was probably justified. I didn't see what they were arguing about. I didn't think it was that bad. But
he was like, he was arguing balls and strikes. He's like, I'm giving you a warning for arguing balls and strikes. And he's like, well, what'd you give me a warning for? And he said, I gave you a warning for arguing balls and strikes. And he's like, it's because you missed 3 calls in a row. And when he said that, he kicked him out.
Yep.
And by the way.
He did miss them.
He did miss those calls. It was not so. Not only was it badly umpired, but then the umpire, to save face, he kicks him out of the game. Matt says AJ was that the same umpire who threw me out that one time in Houston. No, I got ejected multiple times, but I got ejected the very first tournament I ever coached.
That's funny.
I have never been thrown out of a game.
Oh my gosh!
Ever. I've been seatbelted, but I've never been thrown.
Yeah, I got thrown out of the game, and then I tried to go sit in the stands, and they were like, "No, you can't even be in the stands. You have to go to the parking lot." I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
What?
Yeah, so I had to.
How many times?
I think I probably got ejected.
That's such a baseball thing too.
You have to think about
4 or 5 times.
Because you got baseball's enough coaches you can survive. I think without you.
Oh,
yeah. And big time baseball anyway.
But we're talking about me coaching like 300-400 games. I got kicked out 4 or 5 times. So like a 1 in every 100.
Still, man.
That's a pretty good
I mean,
yeah,
that's a baseball thing.
Back. Yeah. You're holding yourself back.
Yeah,
a lot,
in basketball, coaches, the refs see you coming. If you're one of those guys, you're already down 10 points before the tip even happens.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, oh, here he comes.
But also, sometimes you're frustrated with your kids, and
you just lose it.
You can only yell at the kids so much, and you can only say certain words to the kids. So you use those words for adults, and those adults have the power to make you leave the premises.
Baseball.
So, yeah. Christopher says, I need to see what odds I can get at Vegas on Harper being a major bust and bet money on it. All right, dude. I don't understand what people are seeing in this guy and not liking him. I love this player.
Here's the one worry, and Steph Castle did not deal with it, but for the most part, ball-dominant guards take longer to become NBA players than bigs. Bigs can step in and do some things immediately, and I think a good example, and I'm not saying he's any better or worse, but Scoot Henderson has had a rough couple of years. But we saw at the end of this season, suddenly this guy's starting to get it. And it might take a year or two for Dylan to truly be what we want him to be, but he has so much protection. He's got 2 dudes in front of him that he doesn't have to do anything but pick up crumbs.
You know who was a number 1 pick who you could say the exact same thing about, the guy I keep comping Dylan Harper to? Cade Cunningham was not good his first couple years.
It just takes a minute or two, so it'll be hard to quantify how good Dylan Harper is, even though, it might be limited minutes for a year or two.
If in 3 years Dylan Harper is Cade Cunningham, though?
Done deal. We're winning a title.
Yes.
So if we can put up with it and quantify it as success by the end of the contract and not the first 18, 20 months of the tournament, of his first year and a half of his contract for a guy with the ball in his hand a lot, it's hard to look good. It is.
Yeah. All right. There's your losers for the week. I guess we probably had some more, but I went off on this college baseball thing for too long. Those guys, I mean, that's pathetic. First inning, they threw that dude out of the game. You know what? I'll also give before we go, I'll give the Suns a loser mark. Like, you give up so much to get KD, and not even 2 years later, you get back crumbs for it.
Now, I agree.
That's a loser.
But I will say this. At least they pulled the trigger. At least
they ripped the Band-Aid off.
You know what? Yeah. This is never going to work, and we're going to have to trade away a Hall of Famer, and there's no way we're going to get in return.
Not even close.
And they did it anyway because they had to. So, I'll give them credit, but, they get the loser title just because no matter the owner, no matter the coach, no matter the GM, for the last 6 years, they have not made a correct decision. Only thing that they have done right, I guess, is give Book the extension. But other than that, there's not one thing they can point to and go, man, we're so proud of that move. Not one.
Yep. And listen, I'm not the kind of person to call someone a loser for going 1 of 10 from three-point range. But I do want to point out that Caitlin Clark did that yesterday. I'm not calling her a loser. I wouldn't do that. But I will say her team lost, and she did go 1 of 10 from 3. And I mean, it was maybe a loser. It was loser adjacent.
She lost, but it's not a loser.
Yeah, it's not a loser just because she lost and went 1 of 10 from 3.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by the International Hot Rod Association.
The International Hot Rod Association Outlaw Nitro Series is back. 5 events, 4 locations. 1 explosive season. Funny cars, promos. You are in the stands. Get your tickets now at IHRA.com. That's IHRA.com.
Imagine owning coastal land with ocean views and world-class fishing just off Matagorda Bay. Well, dream no more. This Saturday, mark your calendars for a pre-4th of July one-day coastal land sale at Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point. We're unveiling incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1+ acre waterfront properties starting at $99.9. Yes, $99.9. With a barn dominium from just $169.9. Wow! This gated community boasts a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch with paved roads and underground utilities. It's all happening this Saturday. 1+ acre Texas coastal waterfront, $99.9. With barn dominium, just $169.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing is available. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Freedom starts with land, and land like this won't last long.
It's summer. Time to enjoy long days, lazy nights, and great food. Because Uber Eats has deals all summer long. So, when hunger strikes, don't sweat it. Delicious deals are just a tap away on Uber Eats. Enjoy all your favorite grocery items delivered straight to you. Get ice cream, soda, and snacks from your favorite stores like Wegmans and CVS and make the most of every moment. Now that sounds like a good summer. Order now on Uber Eats. Terms apply. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu? Is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Mom, it's like the 80s in here. It's so hot.
It's totally in the 80s. Our AC is bogus.
Call Right Home Services.
At Right Home Services, we love the 80s, just not on your thermostat. Don't get stuck with a bogus AC. the right AC services, the right team, and the right price. 210-444.
The right stuff.
Now we can chill, Mom.
June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. Violence prevention is injury prevention.
911, what's your emergency?
Keep guns locked, secure, and out of reach of children. Firearms are the leading cause of death for people under 20. Never leave a gun in your vehicle. Stolen firearms are often used in other crimes. In a moment of conflict, don't let a split decision become a lifetime of regret. Never celebrate with gunfire. It's dangerous and illegal. Prevent an injury, store guns safely. Learn more at sa.gov/health.
George gets justice.
At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, we don't just represent crash victims, we fight for them. When an accident impacts your life, my team and I are committed to obtaining the justice you deserve. We approach every case with dedication because each one is personal to us. Our promise, no payment unless we win. Call 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Help UTSA football make history. Pack the Dome for the Battle of I-35 on September 6th. From now until June 26th, tickets to the Texas State game are 35% off. The Roadrunners are looking to break the all-time home attendance record of 56,743 fans set in the inaugural game in 2011. Be there. Visit goutsa.com/tickets or call 210-458-8872 to take advantage of this 35% offer. Be part of history. Birds up.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Still working this trouble spot on 1604 westbound right at Bandera Road. It's in the left lane. Left shoulder closed as well. Again, this is the frontage road. 35 southbound FM 1518 on down to Pat Booker Road. That's starting to fill in and slow down. 35 southbound Olympia Parkway at 1604. Some ongoing road work taking up that right lane. And downtown, we've got a closure on 35 upper level, southbound from Alamo on down to Laredo Street. This is due to road work, and traffic is being forced to take the lower level. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
It wasn't pretty, but it's over. The Oklahoma City Thunder won the second franchise championship, first in Oklahoma City history, 103-91 over the Indianapolis Pacers. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander named MVP. In other NBA news, the Houston Rockets won the Kevin Durant sweepstakes, acquiring the 15-time NBA All-Star for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and the number 10 pick in this year's draft. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
9:01 on the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Gilbert said he's buying his jiu-jitsu daughter a Sophie Cunningham jersey.
Get some, baby.
I'm not. First of all, great on you for putting your daughter in jiu-jitsu. I tell everybody, put your kids in jiu-jitsu. It's great for kids. Secondly, Sophie Cunningham scored 0 points yesterday.
She has become, Sophie Cunningham over the last week has become a star. She's like the modern WNBA hot Tua girl.
She did something good for Caitlin.
Yeah, she's a star for other than basketball.
Yeah.
She's I respect.
For thuggery.
She's protecting her own.
She's a goon. 0 points, goon.
My girlfriend's a goon.
That's right. Mock draft after KD sets up a little bit differently. Some things not much different. Cooper Flagg 1, Dylan Harper 2, shocker. They still have Ace Bailey 3 to Philly. I got no idea what Ace Bailey, what range would Ace Bailey shock you? Like,
I still think he'll go in the top 5.
Okay.
Somebody will.
Would it shock you if he goes past number 8?
No. Yeah. Somebody gonna take a flyer. I mean, he's worthy. I don't know if he is actually worthy, but up to this point, he has been.
VJ Edgecombe 4 seems locked in there. Concanifal 5.
There's a lot of variation
Utah.
with him. I've seen him as low as like 12 and as high as Utah, so we'll see.
6, Trey Johnson poor Trey Johnson to the Wizards.
Well,
although Jeremiah Fears is the guy who he's the one who I've seen in every other mock draft for Washington. For whatever it seems like Washington loves Jeremiah Fears.
and they're both the same. I mean, they're the same idea, not the same guy, but you get a lot of buckets from it.
I think Trey Johnson's looked at as like an elite shooter, though.
Yeah, I think that he's probably the better player, but you draft a guy like him or Fears because you're needing production from that position. You need points, rebounds, steals, and all that.
7th, Kasparas Yakashonis, who I've seen him bounce all over the place. I love his game. He is 6'5", 6'6", 200-something pounds.
Coaches with a plan love him. Coaches with a system where he could fit in and give the ball up and be active and move through a flow. Yeah, love him. If you're an on-ball 3-and-D kind of team, I don't know if you love him.
No,
you know
if you need him to shoot, he ain't for you. Jeremiah Fears 8 to the Nets. Carter Bryant 9 to
skyrocketing. This dude
to the Raptors
must have worked out like a fool. That guy was 20s 3 weeks ago.
Made 6 points a game as the 6th man on his college season, his one college season, and top 10 pick.
His workouts must be phenomenal. I mean, all the physicals are there.
Well, you say 3-and-D, that's what he is.
All
he
the
is
physicals exactly what you're. So, I think the Spurs at first were linked to him, but they're not going to be able to get him.
Haman Malawach, number 10 to the Phoenix Suns. That's what they do with the pick that they just got, according to this mock.
And
anyway.
that might be worth the entire draft right there. That might be worth the trade and whatever they're giving up. And along with Durant, they do get a post that can genuinely help that team.
11, Derek Queen.
Now, he's the other guy I've seen as low as 20, as
I
high
know.
as this. So
Here's another one that I've seen bounce around a lot. Number 1, Derek Queen was to the Blazers, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me considering they just used a pick on Donovan Clingan last year. And are they still stuck with DeAndre Ayton, or did they move him?
I think, just because he's on the team, he ain't playing.
Okay.
I mean, if they go get Queen, who will be their power forward? Maybe.
Asa Newell, 12th to the Bulls.
See, that's a guy. I just looked at another mock where he was at 19. Another beauty in the eye of the beholder.
Nick Clifford, 13 to the Hawks. Igor Demin, 14 to the Spurs.
Point guard. I don't buy. No, what? That doesn't make.
He's listed as a point guard, but he's like 6'7", 6'8". I don't know that he's a.
That ain't gonna happen. Whoever. That's not of all. Now he's worthy of going in that spot. So we're gonna draft another
Spurs,
guy
though.
that's 6'5" to 6'8" whose dribble gets him into the paint and can't
really shoot. Yeah, I can't picture that.
That's not going to happen.
I picture this one a lot more. The guy who goes 15th, who does shoot and pretty much only shoots, Jace Richardson. Now that's
I wouldn't
15,
be mad at that.
15 to OKC, mind you. Oh my God,
it might be just enough so they don't get him.
Oh my God, dude, don't let them have Jace Richardson. 16, Cedric Coward to Memphis, the Washington State senior.
Another fast riser.
Yeah, and rare that a senior is that much of a riser, but he's made a nice jump. Danny Wolf, 17 to Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't have great hope for his long-term NBA success.
18, Washington Wizards, Joan Behringer. I don't know anything about him. Frenchie, 6'11". Yeah. Didn't they take a giant Frenchie last year, or is that
2 years ago?
Sar?
No, that was last year.
Yeah, and then Koulibaly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this just a French connection here? What are we doing?
There are worse places to go find talent.
All right. Losers. 19, Will Riley to the Nets, Illinois. Another fast riser.
Solid player, too.
He was a super high recruit.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have the best first year, but I guess they're still looking at him as like, oh, well,
that's a very talented team.
Yeah, no doubt. Colin Murray-Boyles, 20. That's another guy that we saw in the lottery earlier on in the process.
We saw Spurs getting him at 14 in some mocks.
That would be to the Heat. Jazz at 21, Noah Singway, another Frenchie. Mm-hmm. Thomas Sorber, 22, the big man from Georgetown, who he's only 6'10", but he's got like the 7'7" wingspan.
Yeah, he's intriguing.
And he is elite defensively and is a good finisher on offense. I find him an intriguing prospect, mostly because when he was on the floor for Georgetown this year, they were a slightly below average Big East team. When he was off the floor, they looked like one of the worst teams in the country. Like he's a real impact guy.
It's funny how these guys are suddenly appearing again. We got a lot of these guys, big dudes.
Frank says Igor can shoot. No,
He's a good basketball player, and probably deserves to go right in there, but not to the Spurs. Now we're starting to talk about duplicate positions.
Nope. Rasheer Fleming, 23 to St. Joe's, or from St. Joe's to the Pelicans. 24, another shooter to the Thunder, Walter Clayton Jr. Now, there's no way they would go with Jace Richardson and Walter Clayton because that's the same thing. It's two guys who they're undersized, can't play defense, but they can shoot. They won't draft two of them. I can absolutely see them taking one of them, but drafting two of them would not fit what they're doing.
And as great as it would be to be drafted to the world champions, you're going to spend you ain't
playing.
You're going to the G. I don't care which of those two. They're going to spend all year in the G and come up with injuries, and that's it.
Liam McNeely, the Connecticut freshman, 25 to Orlando.
Now, I've seen him as high as like 9.
I know. Nolan Traore from France to the Nets. Then Ben Saraf, an Israeli prospect that I don't know anything about, to the Nets as well. Noah Penda, a Frenchie, to the Celtics. Adu Thiero from Arkansas to the Suns at 29. And Ryan Kalkbrenner, 30th, to the LA Clippers. So there you go. There's your latest.
Kalkbrenner behind, what's his name, big man for the Clippers? That'd be a good landing spot.
Yeah, not a bad spot.
Yeah.
So a little shakeup, but looks like, again, there's no way Demon is a Spur. He does not fit.
No, I think as you went down,
especially if they take Harper, he does not fit.
The wild card in this draft is Ace Bailey. I think there's a lot of teams that either hate him and aren't going to touch him no matter what, even if he falls to him. And I think there's a lot of teams that would gladly trade up. He is a wild card, and him not interviewing with a bunch of teams makes it even crazier. Who knows what's going to happen with him?
Yeah, I am pretty fascinated by that. I think the guy's a dope.
Unless there is truly a method to their madness, like we are going to do everything we possibly can to aggravate however many teams before we get to the team I want to play for.
It says it's weird that Bailey hasn't worked out for anyone. Sixers have to think in terms of not only what the pick can do for them right now, but also how he might be viewed by other teams in terms of trade value. Bailey ticks both boxes as a 6'9" bucket getter who can immediately provide relief for Joel Embiid, Maxey, and George, but who could also be viewed as the centerpiece of a trade for another win-now player down the road.
So I think what happens with Ace Bailey after, of course, the Spurs take Cooper and Harper will reshape the draft if something happens, like literally reslot dudes that didn't think they'd be involved would suddenly could be up in the top 5s just because of a move that it'll take.
Although I think I don't know. There's all of these bad teams, Charlotte, Utah, Washington, New Orleans, they're all going to take whoever they think the best player is, period.
Crumbs. Yeah, I'm talking about this top 10 pick because Bailey could easily be moved right there at 3 and somebody could jump up, or he could just fall on his own to 10. Who knows what's going to happen with him?
But I do think VJ Edgecombe seems to be like an easy fallback plan if
there's a lot of
if
easy
you don't
fallbacks.
like Ace Bailey, or if you want to shoot or trade. Yeah. That's why I'm not dealing with the headache of Ace Bailey. There's enough good players in his range that I want one of the other guys who doesn't seem like a pain in the ass.
Because I can get an athlete in Edgecombe. I can get a shot blocker in Maluch. I can get a shooter in Knipo. I mean, there are guys that I know I can get what I want from, but Ace could be a stud. I mean, could be everything that everybody's talked about, and he has every right to be this kind of discerning about who's going to play for him. I don't know, but that will be the biggest mover in this draft if he does move.
Yep. That is a big decision. All right. VJ I like, though. I like VJ a lot. This is – and especially having a guy like him who doesn't seem like he's going to command a bunch of shots when you've already got LaMelo and Brandon Miller who really, really like to have the ball.
Well, LaMelo will set the table for you, too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be in a great spot to go get a lot of points.
But Brandon Miller's also elite defensively. Miller and Edgecombe as a combo defensively would be nasty.
It looks good. It really does.
All right. Let's take a break. You know what? Before we do, I'm going to give away these tickets. Bricks in the Wall, the sight and sound of Pink Floyd live.
How many times do you think this has come through San Antonio, Vic?
June 28th, they'll be here again at the Aztec Theater.
Let's do, I would say, probably 132
for
times.
30 years.
So should we do caller 132, or what do you want?
Let's do caller 2.
Caller 2.
The first person to call that hasn't seen it.
Bricks in the Wall, the sight and sound of Pink Floyd, June 28th at the Aztec Theater. 2 tickets. This feels like a good time. Like, it feels like a good excuse to get high on drugs.
Well, because keep in mind, it's not Pink Floyd. It's just the show that went around it.
Right.
Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone. Why are you so worried about the kids, man?
Yeah, the eating. You can't have, what is it? You can't eat your pudding unless you eat your meat.
That's right.
What the hell are you talking
Can't
about?
have any more pudding.
I don't want any pudding.
Come on.
All right. When we come back, we'll see what's going on in the world outside of sports. It's the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning, and heads up as you get into your midday commute north side. Jones-Maltsberger just before Nakoma. It's a busy area. We are getting reports of an accident. 410 westbound Exchange Parkway, we've got some debris taking up that left lane. And still dealing with the accident on 90 eastbound as you approach 1604. It's got the roadway reduced to 1 lane, so expect to slow down right around 211. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you want the lowest price. With their lowest price guarantee, if you find a qualifying lower price on the same item, they'll match it. Price match applies to same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how they'll match price at Lowe's.com/lowest price guarantee.
June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. Violence prevention is injury prevention.
911, what's your emergency?
Keep guns locked, secure, and out of reach of children. Firearms are the leading cause of death for people under 20. Never leave a gun in your vehicle. Stolen firearms are often used in other crimes. In a moment of conflict, don't let a split decision become a lifetime of regret. Never celebrate with gunfire. It's dangerous and illegal. Prevent an injury, store guns safely. Learn more at sa.gov/health.
Your marriage is over. You know it, your friends know it. Take back control now with Barton & Associates, an aggressive, no-nonsense team of attorneys ready to fight for what you deserve. Contact us today at texasdivorce.com. That's texasdivorce.com.
Purple Wave Auction remains the trusted leader in online equipment auctions. What makes the difference is you. You are part of our growing global community that continues to trust Purple Wave with the equipment that builds and feeds America. This trust placed in us by our community, from construction to ag producers and fleet drivers, brings great equipment opportunities to their next owners. Join the Purple Wave community today. PurpleWave.com.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
And Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
I forgot my laptop, so I've been on my iPad all day. It's down to 5% battery life, though. So
45 minutes and 5%. Mr. Wendell.
Well, I've got my old trusty phone for the daily lines.
Okay.
But not ideal. Not ideal, certainly.
Well, I am so glad when we go to the daily lines that this I lost more money on this series than anything I've ever. Seriously, of all of the long-term bets that have gone through 7 games, I don't think I was right once.
I was right this last game. I got the I hit the Thunder and I hit the under.
Well, I was okay on the under, but I lost some DFSs.
Oh, did you have Halliburton having a big day?
Yeah, I had him for a little bit more than 2.
Yeah,
how much he ended up with. Oh no, he had 8. I had him for like 14 over.
Yeah, that wasn't going to get there.
So that blew that one.
That wasn't going to get there. All right.
God, it's over.
Let's take a look at what's going on. Vic, imagine you're at the dialysis center. Okay. I mean, like, how could life possibly get worse? You know, you're getting your dialysis treatment, and then imagine an SUV just crashes through the building and hits you while you're getting dialysis.
God's calling you home, man.
The 2 women were getting dialysis treatment, got struck by an SUV, and had to go to the hospital on top of it.
God's like, I thought I got you with the kidneys, but no, it's in the truck.
Ha! I know what it's like. Final Destination.
It is. At that point, God's calling you home, man.
That happened in Phoenix.
Get hit by a truck while you're getting dialysis.
Yeah. A Florida woman was recently arrested after several syringes and fentanyl were found, quote, inside her person.
Oh God.
Jessica Reno
on the syringe.
Jessica Reno, who's 34, stands accused of a lot of crimes, including smuggling a controlled substance in possession of fentanyl. But it's not drug related at all, at least like not initially. She got pulled over for a mismatched license plate, allegedly assigned to a Ford car but affixed to her Chevy pickup truck, and the driver's side seatbelt dangling near the door. A deputy wrote that such a seatbelt is consistent with the driver not properly wearing their seatbelt, and a traffic stop ensued. And Reno said, like the deputy said, she seemed to be taking her time. Upon activating my emergency lights, the vehicle tapped on its brakes several times, but continued to proceed without stopping for about 30 seconds, despite having several safe lit areas to pull over. Upon making contact with the driver, she stated that she was on the phone and was talking to her daughter, which is why she did not immediately pull over. I then inquired her if the female was the registered owner of the vehicle, and she said yes. While attempting to get her driver's license, she said she does not have a license and has an upcoming court date regarding her driver's license.
So it's taken from you.
Now the traffic stop confirms that the license plate was on the wrong vehicle. She had lapsed registration and wasn't wearing her seatbelt because she was, quote, in a rush. Now, these are things that I could see someone doing, but not if they had a bunch of drugs stuffed into their vagina. Like, that's when you, if your vagina is loaded up with fentanyl and syringes, you might want to follow some simple traffic rules.
Or maybe that's because all this happened.
I guess that is
one of that was the reason, because she was loaded up with fentanyl syringes. Or was she hiding them after the cop lit her up?
Yeah.
Is that what he's thinking?
They told her, they said, upon placing her under arrest, they noted, hey, if you've got any contraband on or inside you, you'd face additional criminal charges if they find it at the inmate facility. She said she doesn't have anything, so she went to the local jail, and there was a black sock tucked up into the area of Jessica's vaginal cavity. Jeez. Within the black sock, they found 6 capped syringes and a bag of white powdery substance, and she said that it was fentanyl. Now, they say, like, a piece of fentanyl the size of a grain of salt can kill you.
Right.
Like,
and she had a whole bag?
She's just carrying it around in her vagina in a sock. Do you think it was an athletic sock or a dress sock?
I know.
An athletic sock would seem rough.
Or a diabetic sock, because those are thicker.
I don't even want to think about any of this. I don't even want to begin to consider the differences between socks.
Does that look like a woman who keeps a sock full of drugs up her vagina?
Yes, it does.
Oh, yeah, actually it does.
Actually, it kind of does.
Poor Jessica Reno.
I don't feel sorry for her.
And finally, a man was arrested in California. It's not good to get so drunk that you crash into someone's backyard. He crashed through a brick wall, ended up in a backyard, and he didn't quite knock over the play set, like the
swing set.
Yeah, the swing set, one of those wooden ones, fancy wooden ones. But he came real close. Now it was the middle of the night, so the kids were asleep. Now, they seem to think that he was intoxicated.
You think?
They were going to give him a field sobriety test, but before they could give him a field sobriety test, he passed out on the hood of the cop car. So they just, at that point, they just kind of assumed that, you know what, we think this guy.
I'm going to go ahead and take a nap.
Long shift.
Wake me up when we get to the booking. I'm tired.
I'm exhausted, man.
You need to cuff me. I'm just going to go to sleep back here. Go ahead and put me in the back.
Again? You know how tiring it is to crash through a brick wall? It's
exhausting.
It's tough on you, man. It's tough on the body. I need to rest up. So they went ahead and took him in. They decided that was enough. Now the R. Kelly saga continues.
Those guards hate him.
A stream of petitions for urgent release to ease his pressing medical issues, as now he is worried he is going to die in prison. I don't know that I can feel sorry for R. Kelly. Even if R. Kelly does die in prison, I don't think I feel bad.
I think he's gotten his just desserts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're trafficking kids and peeing on them.
Well,
probably don't need to be out in public.
Yeah. I mean, I'm against that. If I were a kid, I'd be really mad about that.
I think most of them are anti.
My iPad just died, by the way. I had one more story.
Fare thee well. Fare thee well.
Yeah.
It's ruined. It's ruined.
Ruined.
Drew says backyard is only one of 3 possible places a drunk can crash into a house: front, backyard, or house. I say thank God for small favors.
That is true.
Yeah, I don't. Would you rather have someone crash in your front yard or backyard?
Backyard.
I've seen a car on a roof before.
I've seen that. I've seen cars in pools.
Swimming pool,
swimming pool's the other one, yeah.
I have a neighbor, well, not a neighbor, but a house close to us that has had it's on a bend of a road that I'd say over the last 10 years, 5 times I've seen the fence knocked down from cars missing the turn. I mean, just over and over and over.
In my neighborhood, on my way out this morning, today's trash day, and I saw 2 bins toppled over and dented as if they'd been hit by a car at some point. Wasn't me. I mean, I was.
Was trash all over the street?
All over their driveway and their yard.
Some animal.
Yeah, it was a raccoon.
Sucks.
A raccoon who put like a Honda-sized dent in the side of their trash can. It's a really pissed off raccoon.
It's a real big one.
It's a bear coon.
Yeah, he was. It was bad. It was bad.
You ever seen a bear coon?
No, but take off your foot and show him what it looks like.
I'll tell you what his feet look like. It ain't pretty.
How's the treatment going on that?
What treatment?
I thought you got some kind of antifungal thing.
I haven't.
You haven't started using it?
No, I haven't seen a difference. I'm just taking a pill.
Okay.
I think I'm in for months of slow. There's nothing wrong with me that long-term care cannot prolong.
About between 4 to 6 months, you'll see.
Yeah, that's legit. It's going to be a long time, so I'll keep you abreast. Hopefully for Christmas,
before your cheese toe is gone.
Yeah. It's not cheese; it's rotten.
Rotten.
My rotten toe. But by Christmas, we hope to make an appearance.
Oh, all right.
I hope to be Christmas ready, chancla ready.
You're going to be wearing your flip-flops Christmas Day. Come on out.
A man can dream.
A
man can dream.
Your kids are like, how are we going to open our gifts this year without Dad's claw toe?
Dad's razor toe.
How? Open this box.
How are we going to get?
I can't, son.
I could cut into a CD case like nobody's business.
All right. I'm going to tell you guys about my good friends over at Karbach Brewing. Guys, yeah, Karbach's got something for everybody in their lineup. I continue to enjoy the Imperial Hopadillo. Hopadillo Imperial. They call it the double Dillo. I just like to call it the heavy Dillo. I call it Dillo heavy. 9.9% ABV. Really, really hop forward. It is in your face. If you're not a bitter hops type of guy, it's not for you. But this is a big boy beer. Original Hopadillo, always great as well. Rhubarb also available for a limited time. Their Fun Series release, which is like a wheat sort of a sour, got some raspberry, strawberry, rhubarb flavors to it. Great poolside beer. And then, of course, Love Street, that's their best seller. Crawford Box, Ziegenbach, something for everyone in the lineup and all over San Antonio. Not only are you going to be able to find it in the grocery stores, the liquor stores, but it's at all your bars and restaurants as well. So when you're out and about this week, go ahead and ask your bartender, please make it a Karbach.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
You know, some people are just good at everything. You know, gymnastics, sucking crawfish. Some people just are multi-talented. Very educational. We still got 45 minutes to go.
All I know is you're not walking down the hall to go to the bathroom during this break.
No, I'm not.
Ride home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hey, San Antonio. Multiple tours overseas, years of protecting the country. It all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training toward our low-cost degree and certificate programs. We call that credit where credit is due. For over 75 years, our dedicated success coaches have been helping service members achieve their goals. Get started with local support and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATS.
Guys, starting TRT has never been easier. Other places charge hundreds of dollars just for the test, but visit any Synergenics or Low T center and get the consultation and test totally free. Treatment is personalized to you, and most major insurance is accepted. With the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment, you're in control of your health. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. Offer limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Imagine owning coastal land with ocean views and world-class fishing just off Matagorda Bay. Well, dream no more. This Saturday, mark your calendars for a pre-4th of July one-day coastal land sale at Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point. We're unveiling incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1+ acre waterfront properties starting at $99.9. Yes, $99.9. With a barn dominium from just $169.9. Wow! This gated community boasts a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch with paved roads and underground utilities. It's all happening this Saturday. 1+ acre Texas coastal waterfront, $99.9. With barn dominium, just $169.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing is available. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Freedom starts with land, and land like this won't last long.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up Monday on the Blitz, we have an NBA champion. All the reaction from the Sunday night Game 7. The latest on the Kevin Durant trade watch. Plus, it's officially draft week. What are the Spurs going to do with that number 2 pick? We're talking about it on the Blitz Monday starting at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is Jason Minix from The Blitz, and you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Oh, yeah! I found out, I just told Dax last break, hey, I'm going to Puerto Rico.
I
so
forgot about that.
I need to take these days
Well,
off.
I don't have a calendar, so I'm just going to throw a couple of dates at you.
Yeah.
Just throw them out there.
How
about these days? What do you think?
So I said, I need this day and this day. And we have a makeup day coming because we work. Well, you didn't work on Juneteenth, Vic. Must have been nice.
Yeah. I get another day off.
Well, no, you're going to have to work that day.
Just sit in here.
Yeah, by yourself. You just sit here and stare at the wall.
Be running the best
I
of,
work
which
from home.
we've never actually had a best.
You just have to pet the cat. But I told him the wrong days. So then he sent out an email, and I looked at the email and I told my wife, oh, hey, I got these days. And she's like, that's not the days you need. And I was like, damn it. And then I went to go tell Dax, and he's gone, and he's already sent an email to the people. And now I've screwed everything up.
Everything's screwed up.
Everything's screwed up. I've blown it.
You blew it.
You blew it! Drew says, Rob may have some funky evolved athlete's foot, but damn does he have a head of hair.
Don't I ever.
I'm sure some men may trade funky toes and Rob's hair for no hair and non-fungi invested petties.
Some people wish they could do things with their feet that I could do.
I don't know. I don't know what
You wish you could hang by your toes. See, my toes have formed a natural hook.
Oh, that's
They just kind of.
All
I have to do is just get it over, and I can just swing upside down.
like a coat hanger.
I can get longer. I can lengthen my body like this.
I wonder if I could have a full head of hair, but if I had to have
Well, see, if you hang upside down, the blood goes to your head, and it
You got to
causes
give something up.
But I have to hang upside down in a closet every night.
I don't know that it's worth it to me. I think I've been bald long enough that I've just accepted it.
Have you seen the new shaver on TV yet?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Why is it not on your algorithm? It's popping up on my basketball feed.
I don't know why. Yeah,
new head shaver. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I use mine every day, and as soon as I started thinning, I said, you know what? I'm not going to be one of those guys who tries to hold on to my hair or whatever. I just accepted it. And I used to shave my head a lot when I didn't have to. Now, in hindsight, I probably could have.
You could have lasted a little while longer.
I should have enjoyed it more when I had access to a full head of hair.
Too many scars, man. There's too much stuff going. It looks like the moon. When you shake my head, man, there's a lot of stuff going on up there that needs to be hidden.
But I don't know if I would give up. I don't know if I would take the yellow toe and have hair. I think you just take what you got.
Yeah,
Rob wouldn't fix his toe and be bald.
No,
but I don't think I would take hair to have Rob's feet.
Well, no one would want these feet.
So I think you just get used to what you got and you settle with it.
I've got issues. You don't want anything to do with the feet.
Yeah.
No, these are not good feet.
You had an engagement party this weekend.
I did. My brother and
what is
my brother and I said my brother who was there, by the way, but my whole fam and the Thompsons and the Tomlinsons all got together and we had an engagement party. Never been to one before.
Now, what does an engagement party do?
You do a lot of drinking, evidently.
Okay.
Have a few gifts and you sit around and get to know a bunch of people. It was a lovely afternoon.
Okay. So there were gifts?
There were some, which I didn't bring a gift.
Okay.
But some did. Very nice people. But yeah, we had an engagement
What'd you guys
party.
eat?
All kinds of stuff. It was heavy hors d'oeuvres.
Okay.
So it was charcuterie plates. There were sliders. There were meatballs.
Okay.
Nothing heavy.
I saw on Jack's Instagram they had a bunch of steak and lobster and stuff.
I didn't get that.
That must have been the after party.
That must have been. Did you really see that?
Oh yeah.
That was my future. He'd be my in-law, right? He's the
Jack's future father-in-law? Yeah. Okay.
I don't know how I'd define him, but him. It was his birthday the night before, and they went to a restaurant. I'll tell you off air what they had. It sounds like something that's worthy. I didn't see the pictures, but you evidently saw the pictures.
Looked good. Yeah, it looked like a hell of a meal.
A wonderful time. Lovely young lady. Lovely family. We could not be more excited. The Thompsons and the Tomlinsons coming together at some point in the next year and a half. We'll figure out when that actually happens.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. He's got himself a good lady. She
good
seems like a good
sir.
one. We'll drink she's drank some craft beer with me.
Yes.
Every time she sees me, she said, "Ooh, did you bring some craft beer?" I said, "Yeah." All right.
Yep. Us Thompson men, we find women who like a good beer.
That's a good one to find.
That's right.
I'm proud of him for that. All right. Now let's go ahead and do what we always do to wrap up the show and take a look at the daily lines.
It's the Morning Huddle's look at the daily lines with AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You covered, yeah!
Well, no NBA to discuss.
Thank God.
No NHL to discuss.
I need a hot goalie.
College World Series is over. You know what we got? Major League Baseball.
I was afraid you were going to say tennis.
Nope, it's Patrick Corbin Day, though. Everybody excited about Patrick Corbin Day?
We like Patrick Corbin.
He's taking on Trevor Rogers today. Patrick Corbin's Day has been going our way again.
Mm-hmm.
After a rough start, Patrick Corbin Day is starting to turn into what it was supposed
back
to.
into form. He's regressed to the mean.
About damn time. The Rangers plus 110 dogs in Baltimore today. Rogers going for the O's. Nick Lodolo pitches for the Reds. They are at home against the Yankees. Winans going for New York, and it looks like he's going to be the opener anyway. The Yankees minus 125 on the road. The Braves send Spencer Schwellenbach to the hill. He's been very good. Paul Blackburn going for the Mets. The Braves minus 135 on the road. Brian going for the Seattle Mariners. They're minus 130 in Minnesota, taking on Bailey Ober and the Twins. The Pittsburgh Pirates. I think he's going to be the Braxton Ashcraft. Looks like he's going to at least pitch the first inning. I don't know how much he's going to pitch. But he's got a 1.54 ERA. Looks like maybe they want to make him a full-time guy. It's pretty good. Chad Patrick going to go for the Brewers. Brewers still a heavy minus 180 favorite. Eduardo Rodriguez going for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Shane Smith for the White Sox. Diamondbacks minus 135 on the road. The Chicago Cubs and St. Louis Cardinals. Liberatore going for the Cardinals. They are a pick'em in St. Louis. Got a coin toss game there in St. Louis. Boston in L.A. Walker Buehler going for the Red Sox. They are minus 120 on the road. Angels going with Jack Kokanovic.
You say that.
Kohanowicz. I don't know. Angels even money on the return. And, the Washington Nationals. Stay hot, Nats.
Thank you. Nationals
look to continue to play.
Prolong this misery.
Season of something that seems like baseball.
They turned the Rockies into studs, man.
Yep. The Nationals will be in San Diego tonight. Mitchell Parker and Stephen Kolek, the two pitchers there. The Padres minus 175 favorites. Well,
that's about it.
That is about it, except Lady Basketball, Rob. How dare you?
Oh, that's right.
Now, let's play a game. We've been talking about Lady Basketball now for a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say the city. You tell me the mascot.
Oh, great. Okay.
Minnesota is a -7 at Washington.
The Lynx and the Washingtons are I have no idea what Washington is.
The Mystics.
The Mystics. That's right.
Mystics.
And they're good. I should know.
Right, that's
that.
1 out of 2. You're doing okay.
Right.
L.A. minus 3.5 at Chicago.
Sparks, Chicago. Not Fire, are they?
It's the Angel Reese's team. Come on.
Yeah. I don't know.
The Sky.
That's right. I should know that.
The Sky.
See, this sucks. I'm embarrassed. All right.
Atlanta minus 8.5 at Dallas.
The Dream?
Correct.
And the Dallas, that's brand new. I have no idea.
You got to remember, it's
Wings.
The Wings. That's right.
The Wings.
The Wings. There you go.
I think of panty liners.
That's what you got to think of. Yeah. You got to think of maxi pads.
Then I switched to Wings.
That's a memory device.
I don't know. It's how I remembered it.
Indiana at Seattle. Indiana +1 at Seattle.
Indiana Fever, Seattle Storm?
Correct.
All right. See, all of these sound like hockey teams to me.
6 out of 8. That's 75% for those of you keeping track at home.
Radio host.
Yeah, I will go with. I don't know what happened to Fever last night. Caitlin Clark, last couple games, Caitlin Clark sucks.
She got poked in the eye. She's
recovering from a violent assault.
It was.
Yeah.
And she's just not quite up to snuff yet. 1 of 10 from 3.
Not a good day to be an Indiana basketball fan.
1 of
rough
10.
afternoon.
There are some odds on the draft, the NBA draft. Got to see if I can find them on my phone. I had them pulled up on my computer at home, which is now is working just fine at home, but not available. First of all, the NBA Finals, the champion, the Thunder, are your favorites, plus 230 next year. On DraftKings, the Rockets have moved up to the second favorite, plus 750.
I think that's legitimate, but that's some money coming in fast.
Cavs and Knicks plus 850. Timberwolves 13-1. Lakers 14-1. You get down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 11th favorite, the San Antonio Spurs, in the odds.
Which is silly.
25 to 1.
That's way too much.
That doesn't seem like good value,
No,
I can tell you that.
If the Spurs somehow find their way to a title, there will be books and movies and songs written about what happened next year because we're a long way away.
What if I told you that the Detroit Pistons are 60 to 1?
See, they're closer than the Spurs. They're already a better team than the Spurs. They're not as talented, but they're better.
What if I told you the Memphis Grizzlies, who were the 2 seed almost the entire season,
are now
200 to 1?
You know, that Desmond Bane mattered. Who'd have thought Bane was that important to the franchise?
Their odds are 8x the Spurs.
Do they have a coach?
Did
they get one?
I don't know that they've got one yet. I'm not sure that they've got one. The odds to be the number 1 pick, Cooper Flagg now up to minus 20,000. I think that's going to work out for him. To be drafted in the top 10, Carter Bryant minus 120. We've talked a lot about him. The rest of these guys are all plus money. So if you think any of these guys are drafted top 10, Igor Demon plus 115.
Yeah.
Colin Murray-Boyles plus 160. Cedric Coward plus 460. Jace Richardson plus 650. Thomas Sorber plus 650.
Do you hear it? I didn't hear one.
I don't think I did either.
Yeah.
How about this? The number 4 pick. This that's, mind you, that's Charlotte as of now. I'm a little nervous to make a play on this because of Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey's kind of ruining things for me on this.
My gut says it's Edgecombe, though.
Mine too, and if you think it is, 3 to 1. But he is not the favorite. Con Kneifel is the favorite, plus 170. Trey Johnson plus 360.
Is that because he's a Dookie and he'd be staying home?
I don't know.
He's the surefire best shooter, but there's so many unanswered questions with him.
The 5 pick, Trey Johnson's the favorite, plus 180. Ace Bailey plus 275. But the 2 pick at this point, minus 5,000. Dylan Harper.
I think that they're pretty comfortable that he will be drafted by the Spurs.
The number 3 pick, who do you think is the favorite?
Well, Ace Bailey should be, but I think probably Edgecombe is going to edge him out by the time we get there.
VJ Edgecombe minus 200.
That's even more likely than the number 2 or for a number 3 pick in the last 5 years. Could you have said that?
No.
I mean, it's
Ace Bailey 4 to 1.
I hope there's a method to this madness. I hope that he isn't being guided, counseled by the people that have this much effect on him and affecting him this poorly. I mean, I hope this is a one-off.
I think he's a dope. I think he's
you go into interview.
You reap what you sow, Bubba.
And I don't want to. I mean, as the Spurs, when we had to start dealing with Uncle Denny, I mean, that's worst case scenario, man.
Some of these guys, I'll say this one: Kasparas Yakashonis, over under 11.5. I think he's drafted before 11.
You're that talented, you'd expect it.
I think so too.
He's a jack of many trades, but a master of none. So let's see what the eye of the beholder tells you.
Kneifel 5.5. Let's see who else of note has one. Carter Bryant 11.5 as well. It's looking more and more like he's going to go up there too. So, draft on Wednesday. We will dig into it full bore.
Oh man,
come then. So. There you go. There is your look at the daily lines. Not a lot going on in the on the sports calendar today, so we only have so many games.
How far away? We got All-Star game, 2 weeks?
Are we that close?
Well, we're like on our 3rd day of officially summer. So we're almost there.
I guess it's the solstice.
Yeah, we already had it. The days are now getting shorter.
It is now summertime.
And with every passing day, we'll get less and less light.
Summertime. Is that how it works?
With summer solstice is
that means that's the longest day?
So we've had the most sunlight we're going to have. I mean, it's light till after 9 o'clock.
Yesterday was a long-ass day.
So, and that was, what was solstice? Saturday? Was that the first day of summer?
Yep.
Yes, sir. There goes the weather.
That's why you got so wrecked yesterday. Day was longer than you expected.
That was it. One more hour. Daylight. I don't know what explains the cold sweats I've been going through the last hour.
Have you gotten a text from your wife yet?
Yeah, she's not well.
No?
I'm getting one-word answers.
What are you going to...
How you feeling?
One-word answers.
How you feeling? Better.
Better,
not
okay.
Good. It's... Yeah, we got home from the engagement party last night, and it was a rough evening.
Well...
We blame dehydration.
I think that's it's a side effect from what I understand.
Just dehydrated. That's all it was.
Seems like everybody's dehydrated today. Old Jimmy's down the hall. He's like, I played back-to-back rounds of golf.
That old man, have you ever played 36 holes in a day?
No.
He said he played 36 yesterday. I don't think I could physically do it.
Not in the summertime.
If I played 36 holes, we're talking about swinging that golf club 220 times.
At a minimum.
Man, I'm not set up for that anymore.
I could maybe do it if it was like the nicest day of weather in the year in San Antonio. Like if it was not hot, not cold, like it felt like San Diego.
I don't think I could do putt-putt 36 holes.
Did he play the same course 2 rounds?
I think so. I think they went back. They were at the same place. There might be 2 courses.
Okay.
I don't know. They were up in Austin. That's all I know.
Oh. You think Jimmy was playing some bougie course?
Well, he said, actually, I don't think so, because he said, man, Austin's got a lot of good munis. But,
Yeah,
I haven't played golf in Austin in 20 years. I don't know.
Yeah, well.
When was the last time you played?
In Austin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're probably talking. No, not quite 20.
Do you recall them having good munis?
Yeah. The one by where the old airport used to be on the east side was actually pretty good. I like it because there's no trees and it's easy for me to find my ball.
Like a links course?
Yeah, I like that. But then sometimes you hit it on the street on accident. That sucks.
Although I play the roll a lot. I like to play the cart path bounce.
Yeah, I used to go. I played in Austin. One of my buddies there played on the University of Texas golf team.
Well,
and we would play together all the time. He'd get on all the good courses, and but he would play left-handed, so it would be fair for the rest of us to
just play normal.
Yeah.
Just whip my ass. You don't have to play left-handed.
Well, he was beating us left-handed.
Well, I know that's worse. Just beat me by a lot instead of a little.
But it's
left-handed.
not fun to play with one guy in your foursome who's like a scratch golfer and you are a bunch of duffs.
See, what I have found, when I play with really good golfers, I rub off on them. They come back to me. You know what I mean? After they see me swing my club, that beautiful swing I have, it seems to like a virus. They catch it.
Wow.
And I actually have a shot by the end of the day. They're swinging like me.
That doesn't work that way for me.
I mean, James Pledger, I can have him and I can ruin his game in about 5 holes.
Not me. I played with the president, and he shot a 65 that day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
AJ, you become very famous.
I know, Mr. President. I mean, you were incredible. He had 3 eagles that day. 3 eagles.
I didn't personally see them, but he told me.
No, I saw it.
Oh, you did, huh?
I saw all 3 of them, and he did it while being 6'6" and weighing 210 pounds.
Off the tee.
Yep.
I saw an albatross.
He hits the ball about 400 yards.
Big hitter. Big hitter, the president.
Man.
The llama.
Oh, yes.
Big hitter, the llama.
Jeez.
Oh, friends. Hey, the Blitz is out and about this week. Jason and Joe are going to be live on Tuesday. They're going to be broadcasting from a cave.
What?
This is real. They'll be at Natural Bridge Caverns.
Yeah, I had to read that twice myself.
Fun above and below ground with cave tours, adventure twist trails, mining, and even a wildlife preserve. Join Jason and Joe this Tuesday as the Blitz broadcasts live from Natural Bridge Caverns, 2 to 6 p.m. I did that Natural Bridge Caverns once. We did a tournament in San Marcos, and we ended up going up to that thing. It's a cool time, man. Cool
Family
time.
owned. That was family land. They
Yep.
just turned that into a cave.
And
well,
then,
didn't turn it in.
well, I think
there was already a cave.
Yeah, I think there was just happened to be
They
a
just
cave
gave us
there.
some stairs and a flashlight and said, go have some fun.
Yes.
And give us $10.
And then Wednesday, the big day on Wednesday, draft day. Where are you going to watch it? Of course, the Rue Pub.
Good luck, San Antonio. Rue Pub has brought us great favor over the last couple of years.
That is right. The Blitz with Jason and Joe, they're going to be doing the NBA draft live at the Rue Pub. Best place to watch San Antonio. 2 picks in the top 14, including that number 2 overall. That's Wednesday for the first round of the NBA draft with the Blitz at the Rue Pub.
We're going to have to
2
decide.
to 6.
Would you rather go sit amongst the peoples drinking cold beer and watch this, or hang out at the Rock with the other media sucks and politely clap?
I didn't hear my most likely option amongst the 3.
What's that, couch?
Yes. Yeah. Is that what?
And then you'll get a slice of pizza. Then they'll bring you some pizza later.
Oh, well, I do like pizza.
We all politely golf clap. Oh, wonderful pick. Dylan Harper, you say.
Now, I do want to show up when they do the introductory press conference like they did last year.
Yeah, he'll be normally that guy gets here Saturday.
Yeah.
They go through the ringer, and we get him here Saturday afternoon.
Down for that.
Yeah.
But
the best intro in the last couple of years, Wemby was just nuts because just being in his presence was crazy. But when Jeremy Sohan showed up, crazy hair and a British accent, that was an interesting first meet.
I heard when Josh Primo showed up, his fly was undone.
That was a whole other thing. That was,
they were like, Josh, your zipper. And he's like,
hey, get a load of this.
My bad. Certainly didn't do that on purpose.
Pretty impressive, though, right?
Yeah.
You're impressed, aren't
What'd
you?
you think, gals? You saw it.
Yeah, that was a weird opening presser.
You were looking.
Meat gazer.
That's a little tiny pair of shorts you got on there.
Yeah, where's the rest of your pants, Josh? Oh, this is all the Spurs gave me.
Oh, no, I'm not shaking your hand.
This is all the Spurs gave me to wear.
Yeah, I'm not going to
These tiny 19
letters.
It looks like the shorts that Bob Pettit wore.
Those are short.
Our Daisy Dukes in the day.
The OG.
The bottom of your cheeks are hanging out of that thing.
Yeah, they're supposed to.
Yeah, that's how I like it.
That's as the government intended.
Yeah, that's right. All right, friends, that does it for us. Another day in the books for the old Morning Huddle. Good job, everyone, today. I'll be better tomorrow when I have my actual laptop in front of me and my iPad doesn't die. Can't even make it through one show. What a weak sauce iPad.
You're attached to technology.
I know. I'm so soft. Like Tyrese Halliburton soft.
Done and done.
Yeah. My leg! Blitz coming up at 2. R.I.P. Kitty Big Balls.
You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ